Good evening. Can everyone hear me in the back? ¿Me pueden escuchar atrás? Gracias. Welcome, Board of Directors, Superintendent Larios, our guests and family, those who are joining us in person and online. Bienvenidos a todos que están aquí. Gracias por estar aquí. It is now 5:45, and I will call this regular board meeting to order. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have the agenda here before us? Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
I move to add an agenda item that Superintendent Larios provide an update on the outreach efforts to address the concerns related to immigration enforcement and Woodburn School District's response and the policy. And I propose that it be added before land acknowledgement.
Is there a second?
I second that.
All in favor of adopting the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Rosie? I think you're on mute.
There you go. I second it, or sorry.
So it looks like 3-0, 3-1 vote. My vote is no. We need to readopt. All right. Okay, so we will now move to our students in school recognition. We have Heritage Elementary School presenting.
Testing.
Superintendent Larios, members of the school board, members of the Woodburn community, it is our pleasure to celebrate several amazing students and staff members from Heritage Elementary School.
Superintendente Larios, miembros del Consejo Escolar y miembros de la comunidad de Woodburn, es un placer estar aquí para celebrar a varios estudiantes y empleados de nuestra escuela Heritage Elementary.
You want us to translate all of them or just when? So our first student to recognize tonight is Declan, also known as Ducky. Marshall, Ducky, you want to come up? Ducky's new to Heritage this year, but he is already a key member of our Wolfpack community. He's being recognized tonight for his incredible care and empathy for others. This student shows unconditional kindness and compassion for peers and is a great asset to the Heritage Elementary School community. I personally have seen Ducky in multiple settings and on several occasions recognize when another student is experiencing difficulties. Ducky always meets students where they are, whether it's offering to help them through the lunch line when their favorite food isn't available or inviting them to play at recess when they're feeling lonely. We're so fortunate that Ducky's a Timberwolf, and especially during the Great Kindness Week, we want to celebrate what a wonderful, kind person he is. Here, we're going to honor some more. So I'm going to do this in English and you can help with Spanish. Ariana Aviles is also being honored this evening. Ariana is being honored tonight for her exceptional growth in social and emotional skills. Ariana has been a Heritage student for about 2 years now, and in that time, she has grown tremendously. On her DESA, which measures student social and emotional skills, she has jumped 25 percentile points over the past 2 years. So that's awesome. She is a compassionate, thoughtful student who's improved in self-management, self-awareness, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision-making. We're proud of Ariana, and we're glad she's a member of our Heritage community. I believe I saw Ivan Villanueva. Come on up. Yvonne's teacher writes, Yvonne is extremely responsible, kind, well-mannered, and has made huge growth in both math and reading in English. In MAP reading, he went from the 5th percentile in the fall of 2024 to the 42nd percentile in the winter of 2025. His growth index was 99%. He grew more than 99% of kids who started out where he did, so nice job. In math, he went from the 11th to the 27th percentile. His growth index there was 94%. So he grew more than 94% of kids who started where he did in math. Nice work. Yeah, I know. Yvonne's attendance is excellent. He has a positive attitude towards school and is always ready to learn. He always greets the teacher when he gets to the classroom and makes sure to wish her a good afternoon when he leaves at the end of the day. Felicidades, Yvonne.
For him, okay. Sorry, we're improvising here. La maestra de Iván escribe que Iván es extremadamente responsable, es amable, es bien comportado y hace mucho crecimiento en el área de matemática y de lectura en inglés. En el área de lectura en el examen de MAP, él subió del 5º porcentaje en el otoño del 2024 al 42 porcentaje ahorita en el invierno del 2025. Él ha crecido un 99%. En matemática, él subió del 11% al 27% y su crecimiento en esa área de matemática ha sido 94%. Su asistencia es excelente, tiene una actitud positiva hacia lo que es la escuela y siempre está listo para aprender. Siempre saluda cuando llega al salón y se asegura de desearnos una buena tarde cuando se va al final del día. Felicidades, Iván.
And then we have Jacqueline Garcia Cornejo. Jacqueline? Jacqueline's teacher writes, Jacqueline is extremely kind, helpful, humble, friendly, hardworking, responsible, dedicated, and positive. Jacqueline has a positive attitude about school. She's always ready to help the teacher or other students and is always ready to learn. She's extremely smart and extremely humble. She never brags about her brilliance. She exceeds grade level expectations in reading, both in English and in Spanish and in math. She's at the 92nd percentile for math and the 88th percentile for reading in English. She works hard. She is always thorough and her efforts show. I'm also going to point out that she's also a star in choir and in the Smile Club after school. Congratulations, Jacqueline.
La maestra de Jacqueline escribe que ella es extremadamente amable, apoya a los demás, es muy humilde y es muy amistosa. Trabaja muy duro, es responsable, dedicada y positiva. Jacqueline tiene una actitud positiva acerca de la escuela, siempre está lista para apoyar a la maestra y a otros estudiantes y siempre está lista para aprender. Ella es extremadamente inteligente, pero también extremadamente humilde en esa área. Ella nunca presume su inteligencia y Jacqueline excede lo que es los niveles que esperamos en el grado en el que ella está en lectura, tanto en inglés como en español y en matemática. Ella está en el 92% de matemática y 88% de lectura en inglés. Trabaja muy duro y siempre hace lo mejor de su esfuerzo y se muestra.
We have some staff we'd also like to honor. Is Kelly Vasquez here tonight? I don't see her, but I'm going to read what staff have written about her. Kelly is a collaborative and supportive team member that ensures everyone is welcomed and valued within the team. Her contribution, leadership, and knowledge around language curriculum has a positive impact throughout our schools, as is her willingness to help and step in when needed. Colleagues value her commitment to the team, checking in with others, and ensuring everyone feels fully supported. We thank you, Kelly. Alexander Seledko, come on, please. Alexandra is always willing to help during school hours and after. Her bubbly personality is infectious and draws students and staff to her. We want to thank you always for being prompt with all the work that you do with projects. You're an awesome assistant. You're always willing to help even when you're already busy. You are like a butterfly, say your staff colleagues. You're everywhere, helping everyone, the district office, the Russian teachers, and all of the parents. We so appreciate you. I'm not sure if Monica Tapia is here. Is Monica here? I'm going to read about Monica. Monica is our homeschool contact, and she is in many ways the heart and soul of our school. She knows our students and families better than anyone and is tireless in her efforts to connect students and families to school and to community resources. Her positive attitude inspires our students. Families trust Monica, and with good reason. She is that warm demander that every family wishes their children had at school. A fierce advocate who expects much from students and also celebrates their successes with them along the way. She's a key member of our building attendance team. Some of our students with the biggest attendance challenges make huge gains when she works with them. Thank you, Monica. Natalia Feoktistov. We're pleased to recognize the invaluable contributions of Natalia Feoktistov to our school and community. She's an exceptionally responsible and dedicated individual. She consistently supports our students and their families, always offering help, resolving issues, and fostering a positive atmosphere of collaboration. Her efforts strengthen the connection between school and families. Beyond school, she actively participates in community life, organizing events and providing assistance wherever needed. We deeply appreciate Natalia's hard work and care. She is an inspiration to everyone around her. Thank you. And Lucia, I think I saw you here, Lucia Garcia. Lucia is being honored for her incredible commitment to our heritage community. She works tirelessly to assure that our family and community engagement activities are successful, doing everything from creating flyers, to wrangling supplies, to finding volunteers, to coordinating events from start to finish. She's always on the go and always willing to help. Lucia, we appreciate you.
Good evening again, everybody. Superintendent Larios, members of the school board, and members of the Woodburn community. I'm Amy Solis. I'm the assistant principal at Heritage Elementary.
And I'm Sherilyn Rossini Barra, the principal at Heritage Elementary.
We have a couple of highlights to share with you in regards to our school improvement goals. We have an attendance highlight and community engagement highlight. All right, so our attendance goal was to improve average daily attendance by 1.5%. And we actually exceeded that goal by improving 2.1% in the 23-24 school year. Our goal to improve kinder regular attendance was to improve it by 3%. We were able to exceed that and improved by 9.5% in the 23-24 school year, as well as improved regular attendance overall by 3%. And we were able to also exceed that by 10.2% in the 23-24 school year. So we are very pleased to report that. Some of the promising practices that we used in our building were individual incentives and recognitions. We had classroom incentives and recognitions that we did as well, and some home visits and empathy conversations that we held with our families. You can see an example of what the recognitions look like. We do these bi-weekly. We go through and we look at our attendance data and we celebrate the students that are regular attenders and improving in that area. There's also the individual classroom support plans that teachers have. So they create these alongside their students. They have a goal for them, and then they have incentives based on things of interest of the student and just stuff that they agree upon together in a collaborative process. Oh, sorry. Our home visits have been happening through Monica Tapia for the most part, our homeschool contact, in collaboration with myself. We have been able to reach several families, come to their homes. Sometimes we have conversations in other areas that are safe for families, or we invite them into our building if possible to have conversations with them and understand their situation. Every student's situation is different. We want to make sure that we are listening with empathy and supporting and meeting them where they are at as much as possible. So we have different layers of approach to our attendance support for our students. Now for our community engagement goals. The results in the Youth Truth Survey for the 2023-24, we were able to, under the category of community engagement, we were able to raise that to the 51st percentile. We had been at the 7th percentile when we first started gathering the data. And then we had moved to the 41st percentile for the 22nd to the 23rd school year. And now for 23-24, we were able to move that up to the 51st percentile. So we were excited to see that as well. And that was across all the answers in the category of community engagement. So some of the promising practices for that is engaging in evening activities, teaching strategies for parents, and ensuring cultural relevance in all of the things that we do within our building. So these are some samples of activities that we do. We try to bring our families in. Once again, anything engaging with the support of our homeschool contact and our parent engagement staff that we have. So that would be, again, Lucia and Natalia. They support a lot with those events alongside our teachers. As you can see in that picture, we have teachers, families, and district support staff. We also have our early literacy nights where we bring in some of our district support coaches, and they come in and they also work with families and provide strategies to support their students at home. Here are some of our cultural events where we have staff, students, and parents participating. So overall, our promise is to engage, inspire, and prepare each student to learn, lead, and contribute towards an equitable community, both local and global. Thank you. Are there any questions for us?
I do, kind of going back to attendance. in speaking and engaging with families, what is the main challenge when it comes to not showing up to school?
It really varies. I think that's one of the reasons why we find that the conversations are really important, just really being able to sit down with them and have the conversations. For a while, there was a lot of just confusion around like being sick and what that looked like and, you know, when it was appropriate to be in school and not, and just a lot of fear around that. And that was kind of one of our biggest challenges, I think, for at least this is my third year here at Heritage, and that was one of the biggest things I was seeing. Sometimes it's just a matter of just having an adult available to support a student. A lot of our families are working families that are out of their homes very early in the morning, and so students are responsible to get themselves ready and get to school. A lot of times that also becomes a big challenge, so being able to work with families and students, come up with plans on how we can support that, and finding the resources that they need for that. What are some other things that we see that are there really is a lot. I mean, there's a lot of grief and loss. And so being able to connect families with resources in the community, we've seen that in the last couple of years a lot as well, and just finding ways to connect them to the resources that are available so that they can find the supports that they need to get them to school, and engaging our school counselors, our teachers, building awareness around each individual student's needs, I think is really important for us. But once again, I can't say that there's one particular thing that's really big right now.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I'd like to say, first, congratulations on these increases in attendance. That's great to see. And I see some of these promising practices that you included, and I'm sure you're going to continue these. Do you have any, are you thinking of any new practices you might implement to maybe even get these even more to improve?
Yeah, so I think district-wide, we're working on, you know, becoming more in line with just kind of how we want to do these things. So we have multiple layers to that. So we have what our entire district is doing across the board for all of our schools. And so that would be one layer of just protocols that we have in place now. And then the second layer to that would be our school teams. So our school has a team of teachers, classified staff. We have ourselves included, counselors. And then at times we invite parents to be, I mean, we always invite parents to be a part of that, but at times there's parents engaging in that as well. So that team takes on a responsibility for the building when it comes to like classroom supports and things that happen. Then on top of that, we have also added a layer of an office attendance support team. And so that would be like our school nurse, that is our homeschool contact, that is us as administrators, and our counseling team. So I think we're working on 3 different layers this year. That's a little bit of a different approach than even what we've done in the past. They're all coming together and working alongside each other, but I think it really helps just kind of spread, you know, the responsibility around and having everybody really take ownership in the work that's happening.
And you mentioned for home visits, you have one full dedicated person and yourself. No. Well, I was gonna say, in a perfect world, how many folks would you have dedicated to that to increase this attendance?
I think if we had everybody doing that in some capacity, it would
Yeah.
be amazing,
Yeah.
because, you know, our teachers are the people that they're seeing every single day. If they had the time to do that, that would be awesome, right? We are people that they're seeing on a regular basis. Counselors are people they're seeing on a regular basis. We have a homeschool contact that works really closely with our families and has relationships built with the community, you know, generationally. So there's some trust and, you know, just practice that she's had for years. So she's one of our main people that go out and do these things. We've had teachers come with us. You know, depending on what our schedules look like, we try to clear some time so that I can come out there with her. Sometimes that also helps build a relationship with, you know, the community and people being able to see that we care about each and every one of our students, and being able to go out there. Like I said, I mean, we're not always just meeting at home. Sometimes they want us to come out to their work site because they don't have the time to come, you know, into our building. And if it's in the area, you know, why not? And sometimes we've even had situations where they're at is maybe just not a safe place to talk. And so, you know, we find a place that's safe and comfortable for them. So we try different ways of doing that.
Now, is that homeschool contact, is that Heritage just dedicated just to Heritage? or is
Yes.
that- Okay,
It is dedicated just to Heritage. However, she's also got responsibilities here in the Welcome Center. She's got so she's not dedicated to just that effort. If, if we had somebody in our district that was dedicated to just that effort, that would probably be amazing because
understood.
I'm
Okay,
sure,
thank you.
yeah.
Yeah.
That does take time.
So I also want to congratulate you on your astronomical increase in community engagement. Those numbers are absolutely fantastic. And I was just wondering if you could pick two things that you could attribute that to. So you were mentioning in your Youth Truth survey numbers to go like from 7%, 54% in the last 3-year span. If you were to pick two things that you could attribute that to share, what would you single those out to where you have just seen two things that you've utilized that have just, you think, really attributed to those numbers increasing, the community engagement, the success, the engagement, the bringing that in? What would you say that those two things would be?
So I think one of the biggest things is communication and the methods that we're using to communicate. So we're trying every way possible to get a hold of our families, right? So whether it's over the phone, whether it's in writing, whether we're mailing something home or we're putting it on Class Dojo or putting it in our newsletters, we're trying to reach as many families in as many ways possible. So I think that's one of the ways that we've really been able to increase that. At least since I've been here, I was not here the first year of this data, so I'm not able to speak exactly to, what happened there. With the other 2 years, the other thing is a combination of events. I mean, we're looking for opportunities for families to feel like they are a part of the school community. Their kids are a part of the school community. So when we're inviting our families in, most of the time, the kids have some input or buy-in in whatever we're doing, right? Whether they're presenting something that they've done or made or learned, whether they're excited to share or learn a strategy alongside their parents, or do an activity that, brings their families together. I mean, we're always finding ways that we can make sure that they feel like they're kids and they are important in our building and that they're a part of whatever we're doing.
That's great. Thank you.
Seeing no further questions, thank you for joining us today.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Next, we have Valor Middle School, presented by Principal Anna Hansen.
Testing.
Okay, hello, I'm Alejandra Garcia, the assistant principal, and we're going to start with our classified staff. So if Alice, I want to thank you for having us here tonight and giving us this opportunity. We're going to start with our classified staff. Alice Harry.
So both of my classified staff are out today. They actually are studying to become teachers, so they have classes. So that's why they're not present today, but they were aware, and so we'll recognize them at school as well. But we'll still read their little statement that we wrote.
So Alice Harry is an amazing addition to our Woodburn special education team. Alice is not only kind and attentive to the students she works with, she also goes the extra mile to get to know each student as an individual with unique needs and interests. Alice uses those interests to build rapport with her students to help engage them in their learning. She is an amazing resource for modeling and teaching the students alternative means of communications. She's learning sign language as well as how to use the speech generating AAC devices in order to meet the communication needs of her students. Alice is a valued team member at Valor, and I see great things in her future. Our other staff member is Tatiana Grigorieva, and we're thrilled to recognize her for her exceptional dedication and unwavering commitment to supporting our school community. Tatiana goes above and beyond in her role as an educational assistant, demonstrating an incredible ability to connect with students, staff, teachers, and parents alike. Her nurturing and collaborative spirit is evident in every interaction, and she's always willing to step in and to help whatever is needed. As both a parent and dedicated professional pursuing her degree to become a teacher, Tatiana exemplifies a passion for education and lifelong learning. Her natural ability to build strong relationships and her tireless work ethic inspire everybody around her. Tatiana's contributions make a lasting impact on our school culture, and we are fortunate to have her as part of our team. Thank you, Tatiana, for your remarkable efforts and for being an invaluable member of our school family. Okay, moving on to our teachers. We're going to start with Mr. Baker. You can come on up. Mr. Baker has been an invaluable asset to our school community, consistently demonstrating his dedication to supporting teachers, staff, and students. His leadership and active involvement in PBIS initiatives have been instrumental in fostering a positive school culture, and his role in organizing and leading our assemblies has brought inspiration and a sense of unity to our students and staff. Mr. Baker's commitment to academic excellence is evident in the rise of ELA scores, under his guidance, showcasing his ability to motivate and support both educators and students in achieving their best. Additionally, his efforts to ensure a successful implementation of Securely Pass have greatly contributed to the safety and smooth operations of our school. We are grateful for his tireless work and the positive impact he continues to make on our school. Next, I'd like to invite Ms. Jenny Somm. It is with great pride that I recognize Ms. Somm for her extraordinary contributions to bilingual education at Valor Middle School. With over 20 years of teaching experience, Jenny has been the cornerstone to our dual language program, inspiring students through culturally responsive and differentiated instruction in Spanish language arts. Her efforts empower students to achieve bilingualism and biliteracy, preparing them for success in a multilingual world. Jenny's leadership extends beyond the classroom. She advocates tirelessly for the growth and support of dual language programs, administers the STAMP test to validate students' bilingual proficiency, and fosters a school environment that values cultural diversity. Her collaboration with families, colleagues, and the community embodies the principles of inclusivity and advocacy central to bilingual education. Jenny's unwavering commitment to her students and the mission of bilingual education makes her an exemplary educator and a true asset to our school. She reflects the values of dedication, excellence, and advocacy that we strive to uphold. We are honored to celebrate her remarkable achievements. Next, I'd like to invite Mr. Efrain Alonso. He has been He has been an exceptional asset to our school community, consistently going above and beyond to support our students, teachers, and staff. As a leader, school counselor, and PBIS advocate at both the school and district levels, his contributions have been invaluable. Mr. Alonso's dedications is evident in many ways in the many hats that he wears, from leading our assemblies and bringing energy as our DJ, to mentoring students and fostering connections at Chemeketa. Additionally, his efforts in creating and nurturing our Grupo Folklórico have enriched our cultural identity and given students a unique opportunity to connect with their heritage. His commitment to fostering a sense of belonging and excellence inspires us all. Thank you, Mr. Alonso, for your unwavering dedication and passion. We would like to recognize 4 of our students, starting with Veronica Ambrosio. Veronica is truly deserving of recognition for exemplifying our school's core values. Through her academic achievement, she consistently strives for excellence, setting a strong example for her peers in Avid Excel and Social Studies 8. Her leadership shines in group projects and Avid activities where her kindness inspires authentic teamwork and inclusivity. Veronica is always ready to share her brilliant ideas out loud, creating a tone in the classroom for all students to feel comfortable to share out loud. Additionally, her personal growth has been remarkable, overcoming challenges with reading and public speaking. She is truly one of the sweetest and kindest young ladies at Valor and extremely deserving of this recognition. Verónica es verdaderamente merecedora de reconocimiento por ejemplificar los valores fundamentales de nuestra escuela. A través de sus logros académicos, se esfuerza constantemente por la excelencia, estableciendo un fuerte ejemplo para sus compañeros en Avid Excel y Estudios Sociales 8. Su liderazgo brilla en proyectos de grupo, actividades de Avid, y su liderazgo brilla en los proyectos donde su amabilidad inspira el auténtico trabajo en equipo y la inclusión. Verónica siempre está dispuesta a compartir sus brillantes ideas en voz alta, creando un tono en la aula para que todos los estudiantes se sientan cómodos para compartir en voz alta. Además, su crecimiento personal ha sido notable, superando retos con la lectura y hablar en público. Ella es verdaderamente uno de las más dulces y más amables señoritas en Valor y muy merecedora por este reconocimiento. Next, we have Carlos Morales. Carlos has shown remarkable growth over the past 3 years that I have had the privilege of knowing him. Each day, he arrives at school with a positive attitude, ready to embrace the challenges and opportunities that come his way. His unwavering enthusiasm for learning and his commitment to making the most of each day set him apart as a role model among his peers. Over time, Carlos has developed into an exceptional leader, someone other students can confidently turn to for support, guidance, and encouragement. His ability to connect with others and inspire them to persevere is a testament to his character and maturity. No matter the obstacles he faces in classes, Carlos has learned to push through with determination and resilience. He seeks help when needed, showing both humility and a genuine desire to succeed. Carlos embodies school pride through his consistent demonstration of a strong work ethic and leadership skills. He takes pride in his accomplishments, encourages others to do the same, and fosters a sense of community and belonging among his peers. His growth, dedication, and influence make him a shining example of what it means to be a leader and a proud representative of our school community. Next, Brianna Salgado. Santiago. Sorry about that. Brianna. I am pleased to nominate Brianna Santiago as an outstanding 8th grade student. She consistently shows dedication and perseverance in all of her work. Brianna's commitment to doing her best is clear in the effort she puts into every task, always aiming to improve. In my Spanish language arts class, she faces challenges with a positive attitude and a strong work ethic, setting a great example for her classmates. Beyond her academic strengths, Brianna is respectful, well-mannered, and kind to everybody. Her friendly and cooperative nature makes her a joy to teach and creates a welcoming environment for her peers. Brianna's hard work is matched only by her kindness and thoughtfulness, and she truly embodies what it means to be a role model. She is an inspiring student who leaves a lasting impact on those around her. Me complace nominar a Brianna Santiago como una estudiante destacada en 8º grado. Ella demuestra constantemente dedicación y perseverancia en todo su trabajo. El compromiso de Brianna por hacer lo mejor posible es evidente en el esfuerzo que pone en cada tarea, siempre buscando mejorar. En mi clase de artes del lenguaje en español, enfrenta los desafíos con una actitud positiva y sólida ética de trabajo, lo que la convierte en un excelente ejemplo para sus compañeros. Más allá de sus fortalezas académicas, Brianna es respetuosa, bien educada y amable con todos. Su naturaleza amigable y cooperativa hace que sea un placer enseñarle y crea un ambiente acogedor para sus compañeros. El arduo trabajo de Brianna solo es igualado por su amabilidad y consideración, y ella realmente encarna lo que significa ser un modelo a seguir. Es una estudiante inspiradora que deja un impacto duradero en quienes la rodean. Next, we have Daniel Lopez. Daniel is a model student who consistently demonstrates responsibility and a commitment to his education. He shows up to school every day without fail, always punctual and ready to engage. His positive attitude is infectious, creating an uplifting environment for those around him. Daniel approaches his assignments with determination, putting in his best effort to ensure he produces work exceptional quality. His dedication and strong work ethic serve as an example to his peers. In addition to academic achievements, Daniel has earned the respect and admiration of both his classmates and the teaching staff. His peers naturally gravitate towards him, recognizing his leadership qualities and his abilities to inspire others. Through his kindness, empathy, and willingness to collaborate, Daniel has fostered strong, positive relationships across the school community. His presence enriches the school culture and contributes to a supportive and inclusive environment for everyone. Daniel es un estudiante modelo que demuestra constantemente responsabilidad y compromiso con su educación. Acude a clases todos los días sin falta, siempre puntual y dispuesto a comprometerse. Su actitud positiva es contagiosa y crea un ambiente positivo para los que le rodean. Daniel afronta sus tareas con determinación, esforzándose al máximo para realizar un trabajo de calidad excepcional. Su dedicación y su ética de trabajo son un ejemplo para sus compañeros. Además de sus logros académicos, Daniel se ha ganado el respeto y la admiración tanto de sus compañeros como del personal de la escuela. Sus compañeros gravitan naturalmente hacia él, reconociendo sus calidades de liderazgo y su capacidad para inspirar a los demás. Gracias a su amabilidad, empatía y disposición a colaborar, Daniel ha fomentado relaciones sólidas y positivas en toda la comunidad escolar. Su presencia enriquece la cultura escolar y contribuye a crear un entorno de apoyo e integración para todos. Primero aquí y luego los padres.
Una, dos, tres. 1, 2, 3, 5. Muy bien.
Say cheese.
Imagine that. I did tell my kids and stuff that they can leave after, so. I know I'll be giving out a lovely presentation here, but. Oh, you have it there. Okay. Sorry, I'm gonna have mine too, because I need to make it bigger. I can't see from too far, guys, sorry. So can you go to that? So specifically for this presentation or for the purpose of this school year, we're focusing on building a student success through accountability, fostering a sense of belonging and a strong school culture. And that's something that you probably heard even in all the recognitions that we have. We have a really strong team at Valor, and the students are really playing a huge part in what we do and how we do things. We do it always the student center, and that is the most important thing I think that we have right now for us. So we will start with our leadership. I think this is loud enough. Okay. Leadership team, as you can see, 3 of the staff that got recognized today are part of leadership. You also see a parent facilitator there who was recognized by the Heritage staff. We do have representatives from each department or each subject. And this is what really, this has been helping Valor a lot, just having a really strong leadership team. What we do is we make decisions in leadership, or we bring ideas to our leadership team, and from there we take them to all the different committees that we have, and they share those ideas or they bring things back. So we have like a representative for each of them in like the different committees or the different teams. We have newcomer team. I know Ms. Sum is part of the newcomer team. I know Mr. Baker is part of AVID. So we have them going into different things, different meetings that we have, and different initiatives that we have at the school in order to really make that impact that we need in the students' life and in the day-to-day, and building those connections and doing all the things that we do. So some of the positive things, you're going to hear a lot about all the positives that we're doing. We do a lot of positive office referrals. So that is something that I personally make the call home to let parents know that the student has received a positive office referral. It has been really impactful, and the students, they really love it. They really love getting those positive calls home. Before, I didn't used to make the positive calls. It was more of like behavior concerns or things that weren't going really great at Valor. And so making that first connection with parents and letting them know, hey, I'm calling you. They're always like, what happened? I'm like, oh no, nothing. It's a positive call. It's like a positive office referral. And then I get to read what they did or what they got the referral for. And it's really positive. It's really good. And the parents are really happy. So I tend to do them really before a break or before a long weekend for the kids to be excited. They're like, can you call my mom? And then we give them like a little ice cream or something to honor them. And we have changed it from last year. Every year we learn. Last year we used to drop them off in the class or pull them out and have them. And we were like, well, that's not really great. So we changed it to have it, and we do it now during lunch. And they love it because it's in front of all their friends and their whole grade level. So they get to see them, and the kids get really excited. Everybody starts clapping, so it's really good. These are a few of the pictures that we have, what we do. We also include them in the newsletter that we send home. So it's really positive, so yeah. Then we started another initiative that we had this year is the award ceremony and assemblies that we have. It's something that actually came out from our side council. And one of the things that they said was like, I felt like we were focusing so much on the negative last year. Like when we were having the side council meeting, they were bringing, how's the behavior? How is this? So they decided this year, like, can we do the positive? Like, can we really focus? I know we were asking so many questions, and they were asking a lot of questions about like what was going bad and how we were going to fix it and all of that. But I think also it has shifted a lot than what it was to what it is now and the behavior. And so that also give us the starting point of like, let's honor the students for the great things that they're doing. That included the honor roll. We're including athletics. We're also including perseverance. We're also including attendance. And we also include the teachers in the attendance as well. So it was really great to see, we're calling teachers first and then calling students for attendance. So that was really great also to honor them. So, yeah. And this is the Youth survey. I'm going to have to zoom into this, sorry, because I cannot see really well. But we have, if you see the table at the bottom in November 2024, we have grown from, in all the areas. We're in the green zone, I will say. In engagement, this is specific for staff. We're at 69%. We were at 56%. Last year, we have grown in relationships 75%, then culture, 61%, then professional development and support, 52%, and school safety, 68% from 39%. It has been, there has been a lot of growth that we have done in in those areas. When it comes to the families, we have also shown a lot of growth in those areas as well. Engagement, 60%, relationships, 76%, culture, 58%, communication and feedback, 61%, resources, 50, I can see, sorry. The school safety, 49%. So the goal is not really to be perfect, and it comes also, is based on perception, but I do feel I can take the credit for that. I do feel like the teachers are working so hard every day to really make that impact, and for them to really, they show up every day, you know. I know we had a tragedy that happened with a former student recently, and today their main focus was the students, and I was just like, you know, it took us all by surprise because we knew the student really well. But they were like, no, we're here for the kids, we're gonna be okay. So instead of focusing on them, they were like, we had like the weekend, we have been processing. But to show up and be there for the kids, it's all that they do all the time. And I'm just so thankful that they do that, because, you know, that's why we're there, right? So they always go that extra mile, and I really do appreciate and value that and all their concerns that they bring. So, and this is the students' feedback. I think that is, you know, we have shown growth in all the areas, I hope. Yes, okay. So 35% in relationships, belonging and peer collaboration is 44, culture 38%, 57 for academic challenge, and engagement. Obviously, we want to continue to grow every year. So we are using different strategies with the students. You know, for a middle school student, it could go left and south every other time. You can be really happy one day, and we have to address every little concern that they bring, from like, oh, well, she was looking at me and she was staring at me, to, no, they really weren't. They were looking past you, but it's okay. So, but we have to address it, just because the social and emotional piece is so crazy at the middle school level. We have to make sure that we're always there for them, and any little thing can turn into a huge thing. So we want to make sure that we're addressing all those things. So it comes with perception. You know, I always wonder, if I give you this on a different day, would it be the same score? Probably not. You know, it really depends on the mood. It's like my teenager, when she comes home and I ask her, how was your day? Good. It's every day is good, but you know, they really ask her questions, then you find out so much more. So it's all about that, I think. It's depending on how they're feeling that day and what's going on. So we really try to make them focus on the questions and why not, but sometimes it's really hard. So attendance is, I think the district is working in attendance as a whole. We have had a lot of issues. We have improved our attendance. It is 65% for regular attenders. I do believe we were at 60 or 58% last year, 61% this year. I think it's 58% actually, but yeah, I'll check. But yeah, so it has gotten better. We are doing empathy interviews. We are doing student success plans. We're doing the home visits. When it becomes like a really big issue, then that's when I step in and I do the home visit. A lot of the times we don't get the response that we want, unfortunately, but our homeschool contacts do the home visits a lot, especially we have families who are absent a lot, and I think, you know, it is really hard to get to them even when we do home visits. So that's what's really getting to us. 56% from last year. So yeah, thank you. And so one of the things that we noticed is the tardies. We had a huge amount of tardies by grade level. Per day, it was, I think, over 50, maybe 60 per day, and that's kind of crazy. So we started a tardy competition among the grade levels. And so it was basically, you know, whoever, we're giving them 15 minutes, 15 minutes of using their phone while they have lunch. So while they're eating, they can have their phone out and they can get to use it, but they need to earn it. And it depends on the amount of tardies that they get. So we did this race against time. And believe it or not, at some point, one of the grade levels got to 9 tardies. That was impressive because they were at 60. Uh, but, 15 minutes of fun is all it took for them to really motivate them to do really well, in all honesty. So they have been working really hard to get to that goal every day because they want to use the phone and only one grade level gets to use it. So it's kind of crazy. I know. It's kind of crazy, but it's free, and it really works. And like the kids try. So it's being hard because it's usually the same students who are late. So we're trying to have these conversations with those specific students of like, how come it continues to be a pattern that, we see these tardies. But we don't only do like, the tardy competition. There's also consequences. Obviously, if you have certain amount of tardies per week, you get detention. You can get Saturday school too to make up the time. And they do come. Parents do bring them, which we really appreciate. They also stay after school. So it really depends on the amount of the number of tardies that they have throughout the week. We assign them either lunch detention or we give them after school detention, and then we do Saturday school if needed. That usually is when we have like 8 or more tardies a week for one student. Yeah. So we have a lot of mentorship clubs and more. We have a lot of things that we have been doing for the students. We have leadership clubs. We have the garage sale. We have, we do a lot of things. Like I created a leadership club after school for the 8th graders specifically. I'm sure some of you guys saw them during the Halloween that we have event at the high school. They came and volunteered. 2 of the students who got recognized today are also part of my leadership club. And I think it has been really great because, the last thing that I will think they want is to hang out with the principal on a Friday afternoon. But they do. They stay. It's the only day that I have available. So because I have meetings after school, but they do stay after school with me and they hang out. We have a lot of clubs. Mr. Alonso created also the Folklorico dance group. And then the Guatemalan students came over and asked him if they could have a club also of dance, and they're the ones teaching him essentially how to do Guatemalan dance. And so it's really neat to see them that they want to be part of something and that they want to create something. So he has that one on Tuesdays too, and then he has his folkloric on Fridays, and then he also helps with the Chemeketa mentorship program that comes over to Valor to mentor students. So it's really great. So those are some of the pictures that we have. That's the folklorico dance group that he has. Then we have the mariachi class that we created this year. Is new. And so it's a brand new class, so we're trying it out. The students were really excited. We had a lot of students who signed up for it. We lost our teacher mid-year, so we hired a new teacher, but he's moving the program forward, so we're really excited for that. But we do have, that's the mentorship from Chemeketa that you see in one of the pictures. So we do have different things that we're trying to do and promote at Valor for them to feel like they belong. And, we're all about that, really like making sure that the students feel like they can be there and they want to be there. So I think that's really important for them to create that positive environment. That's it. No, that's it. Any questions?
Well,
concerns?
it's great to see all these improvements, and thank you for sharing and being here. I do have a question.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about the mentoring program?
Yes. So we connected with Chemeketa. So Chemeketa comes over and we gave the students the opportunity to sign up. It's, they get to sign up if they want to do it. We actually went and personally asked some students to sign up because we felt like this is one of the kids that will benefit from it. So we kind of put a little bit of, hey, peer pressure into them, like, hey, this will be good for you. It will guide you. It will support you for you to eventually try to go to that college path and make sure that you feel like someone can connect with you. I have seen some of the former students from Woodburn High come over who are attending Chemeketa, so it's really great to see them. I know because I know them from Charles' class, and I met them in the conference, and I was like, oh my gosh, you're here. And she's like, yeah, I'm going to Chemeketa. So it really impacts the kids when they see that because they're like from Woodburn, they're coming and giving back to that community. And so it's really great. So So they love that. They love that it's young people coming and mentoring them and like, teaching them different things or talking to them about some other things that might be happening in school too. So it's really great to have them be part of our community.
Thank you for sharing.
Of course.
Other questions?
So other than the, mentoring program, do you have, like a parent volunteer base that's regularly helping, like, parent group other than site council
Yeah.
that's helping like support all of the activities? Like when you're talking about all
Yeah.
these clubs that are
Mhm.
helping, is it really more staff?
It's staff
that's-
driven. Yeah, we do
Really?
have, I think, it is different at the middle school when it comes to the parent involvement bits. I think a lot of the times what we hear is like, we just want to give them their space and like they don't want to hang out with the parents. So it's really hard for them. So we started an initiative and we actually put out a survey. We did get a few parents who wanted to have like a parent group. It was about 7 parents. We had our first meeting and we only had 2 parents show up. So it has been like a struggle to start that, but we are working on it. And so at some point we did offer like a class and it was targeted like parenting class for some parents. And they actually did come to that. We have about 9 parents who were coming. But for them to come and volunteer, if we ask them, they do come. And our site council parents are the ones that are more involved in everything that we do. So they're always volunteering for all the events and all the things that we're doing. So that has been great, only because like we can connect with them and it's really easy. And we have known them for a few years now. So it's really great just to have that connection with them. So they are always there to volunteer for other events and things. And they come and sell and sell stuff if we need them or serve things for us. And it's really great to have them. Yeah. Mhm.
It sounds like you have a pretty strong site council. Have you
Mhm.
done anything to recruit those members, or what have you done to build that site council?
So we have our bylaws and so we follow them to the T. So we're really good about like, we had like, when they got, we had to vote. I put it out for the parents. It was last year. So they basically stay with us for 2 years. And so they have to make a commitment of staying with us for 2 years. And they cannot miss meetings. They can miss 2 meetings, but they have to let us know in advance. And if they miss more, then we get to vote and decide. And so we do follow like the rules. I'm very by the rules. So we do follow that, and I think, I think they want to be there, so it's great. I do feed them every time we have a meeting. Maybe that helps. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's good. Yeah, they're really great and they're really involved. So they're always like trying to recruit people and offering things that we need to do or things that we should work on. So it's really great. I'm actually not the facilitator for the meeting. Like I'm there, right? But they're the ones who bring the topics. And we have someone who we selected and we decided that it will be better, if it wasn't me all the time, like I have to be there, right? And I have to collaborate but it's such a natural process. It's really great. Like our site council, I feel like it runs really smoothly. So it's really easy to talk to them and really they collaborate and they're always willing to help. So it's really great to have them. Yeah. This is their last year, so we'll see how it goes. They get to run again, I think, so it's okay.
There are no further questions. Okay, thank you again.
Thank you
joining us.
so much. I didn't even address you guys, but thank you so much. I really appreciate what you guys do. I know this is something that you guys do out of the goodness of your heart every day. You guys come here, but we really appreciate you. And yeah, you're welcome to come to Valor. I think Thursday, right? Well, we'll see you
Yes.
there.
We will.
Any day you guys want to come,
Thank you.
we're there for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is School Board Recognition Month, presented by Superintendent Larios.
Well, we're not quite done with recognitions. Every month you have, the board, you recognize our staff and our students for the contributions that they're making to the school community. This is an opportunity for us to recognize you all and the contributions you're making to our district community. So all around you, you see some tokens of appreciation from schools on your desks or your tables as well. When you came in, there were some little goodie bags. And at the work session earlier this month, we read a proclamation declaring this as Board Appreciation. So I want to call you all up for a certificate. Board Chair Naomi Legaspi, come on down. Board Vice Chair Rosie Burkhoff, who's joining us virtually. We still have your certificate. We'll get it for you when you're here in person, Rosie. Ryan Byer. And Courtney Elwell, come on down. Thank you for being our school board superheroes and for all the contributions that you make to the district. It's a lot of work to be on the board. It's not just being here at the board meetings. There's so much that goes on beyond this time together to be able to be prepared to have the investment pay off here. So you dedicate so much time to be able to move this work forward. So thank you.
Hey, Rosie, if you can look into your camera and smile, we're going to try to include you in the picture.
Moving on to our next item. We have public comment. And we do have public comment this evening. Thank you for being at the Woodburn School District Board meeting tonight and for sharing your comments with the board. Hearing from our families and our community is important to us. During this section, the board's role is to listen. We will not be engaging in dialogue with folks making comments. When follow-up is warranted, that will usually be done through our superintendent. As a reminder, remodel the way for our children. Please keep your comments respectful and do not personally identify staff or students by name, as this may violate HR and student privacy laws. We want to leave time for everyone, so please keep your comments to 3 minutes per person. Thank you. So I would like to go ahead and invite Tony Salm to read public comment.
Good evening. First of all, I'd like to join all of you in congratulating the outstanding students and staff members of Valor Middle School and Heritage Elementary School who are being honored here this evening. I'm here tonight for a different reason. I'm here tonight out of great concern for our students and for the Woodburn community. The current administration in Washington, D.C. has promised mass deportation of undocumented immigrants. Across this country, many raids have already been carried out, which have indiscriminately swept up some people who are legally here, along with others who may not be. These raids are only going to increase and impact more American towns and schools over the next 4 years. In Woodburn, a community of many immigrants and mixed status families, there now exists a climate of fear. A story out last week on OPB detailed the chill that has descended here. A climate that forces families to plan for every contingency in case parents are detained and or deported while their children are in school. A climate that makes many longtime residents hesitant to even leave their own homes. Our superintendent has already issued a message to staff and the Woodburn community, restating the existence of Oregon's sanctuary laws and reassuring us that our schools are a safe place. We're appreciative of this. However, we believe that it does not go far enough and leave some important questions unanswered. For example, will students also be safe at the bus stop, walking to school, or on field trips? What is the protocol when a student's parents have been detained and emergency contacts cannot be reached? What happens when federal authorities, as seems likely, decide to ignore state sanctuary laws? In addition, our educators are looking for clear guidance as how to approach this topic with students. There are red cards available for distribution which detail everyone's right to remain silent in case they are confronted by ICE agents. These should certainly be distributed. There's also an important role that the school board can play. The boards of Salem-Keizer and other districts have already issued resolutions affirming that local schools won't cooperate with immigration enforcement actions on campus. I've attached to the email that this came with a template from the National Education Association that school boards can readily tailor to their own circumstances and promptly adopt. It goes without saying that nobody in this room has the ability to solve all the particulars of federal immigration law. However, it's time for this board to go on the record and stand shoulder to shoulder with this community, with its children, with our school staff, and the associations who represent them, in a show of solidarity with the wonderful families who make their homes in the rich multicultural tapestry that is Woodburn. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, we have item 4, which is reports. We have board reports. And this is the time for board members to share how they are helping move the district or the district mission forward. Anybody would like to go first?
I recently went on the Nellie Muir school tour, and I plan on going on the Heritage and Valor school tour on Thursday. That's it for me.
Thank you.
I as well went on the Nellie Muir tour, and I thought it was fantastic. We had lunch with the students, and I also plan on going on the next tour to Heritage and Valor. I have been getting some feedback from concerned parents and students over the weekend about the train incident that happened on Friday, and concerns about statements that were made by the previous superintendent in regard to work that was understood by the community that was going to commence quite some time ago and is not yet underway, and I've directed them to contact our superintendent to discuss that. And I have attended a varsity basketball game, and I'm excited about how they're doing. And
sorry, I couldn't attend. But I was at the dual language committee meeting and then at the high school literacy educational night last month. And hopefully gonna attend the Valor for this Thursday. We'll see how this bug's doing. And looking forward to the cultural night next week at the Heritage Elementary. Sorry, on the 6th. I apologize.
Thank you, Rosie. Is there anything you wanted to share? Be- Or finish sharing.
I'm good.
Okay. I also plan to visit Heritage and Valor this week and have also attended our students play basketball. And so it has been exciting to see them play and show up to their games. All right. Well, thank you everyone for sharing. All right. Next is the Office of the Superintendent.
Yeah, originally when this agenda item was put on the agenda, it intended to highlight some of the growth in attendance that we're seeing in the district, across the district, and the successes there. But in light of everything, I'd just like to touch on a couple different things at this item. On Friday afternoon, our community suffered a tragic loss when a student was hit and killed by a train in downtown Woodburn. And I'd like to just invite us all to join in a moment of silence to honor the loss of our student. Thank you. We did have some crisis support teams available at the high school today. We have support available at Valor Middle School, and there'll be supports there as well tomorrow to continue to support the students and staff as they deal with the situation and are impacted by the loss of their classmate and their student. A very sad situation indeed. And also, this may get into a little bit of what was requested as the agenda item, touching a little bit about the work that's being done to communicate around immigration efforts, supporting our students. And we stand with all of our students and are committed to creating a inclusive, safe environment for everyone, one of our students, regardless of immigration status. And actually, we don't even ask for students' immigration status, but we're committed to all of our kids. Back in November, we started communicating about the process, the protocols in place for how we would respond to should there be an ICE agent who arrives at a school. Not that we have seen one, but we have those protocols in place, and we began communicating those back in November. As the federal policies regarding sanctuary status, sanctuary laws began to change, we began to communicate a little bit differently in regards to how that change impacts us, and leaning on the Oregon sanctuary laws. So we communicated out to our community about what that means. And I just want to read it so that it's on the record about where we stand with in regards to immigration efforts. And this is what comes from the latest communication that was shared with all families in English, Spanish, and Russian. Just dear Woodburn community, in an effort to lower anxiety for our students, staff, and families, we want to reiterate state policy in place regarding immigration and customs enforcement, ICE agents, and officials. We understand that this is a sensitive topic. However, we are committed to eliminating barriers that may prevent students from attending school, and the fear and anxiety related to this topic is real for many. Under Oregon sanctuary laws, no public resources will be used to assist with federal immigration enforcement actions, and they must not occur on school district property. Students, staff, families, and community members need to feel welcome and safe when accessing our campuses. If an ICE official does come onto campus, they will be asked to provide identification and will speak to an administrator. The district is prohibited by law to allow an ICE official to access any part of the school building beyond the school office. We want to be clear, such officials do not have the authority to remove a student from school unless a judicial order is provided. Our district does not collect information about immigration status. If student records are requested, they will not be provided. Student records are protected under federal and state law and will not be shared. We want to stress that we have not had any officials attempt to access students while at school. We will continue to strive to create safe, welcoming campuses for our entire school community. So we go on to outline a little bit about what that means further in areas of what we do intend and what we do not intend to have in place. We do want to help create and protect a school environment for all students, families, and staff. Understand our role related to district policy and procedures. If anybody has any questions, we encourage them to please first speak to their supervisor. We'll continue to adhere to district policy and procedures. We ask people to ask questions of district policy and procedures if they have any doubts or concerns, and call a supervisor if immigration officials seek entry or information at a school office, and they will be directed to the district office. So we stand committed to continue to support all of our students, and we're working to curate resources to continue to make information available. This is the topic that continues to kind of evolve and morph. And so we want to stay on top of this and provide the facts to our community so that we can continue to reassure people of the safety of inclusiveness of our schools. So we'll be working to continue to gather resources and make those available for families and for students to help them feel safe and secure and less stress and anxiety that they might be feeling through this state of uncertainty that might be existing around them. And we'll continue to work with legal counsel as we sift through those resources so that we're providing accurate, fact-based information to our students and staff, and provide information nights as well in the future where people could come and gather and hear information and ask questions directly.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
And I believe this is not the first time we hear it. I believe we as board members received that as well via email.
Yes, the
Yes.
document was shared.
So,
It was shared with all staff, all families, and the board as well.
Thank you.
Now, I have a question. Is some of this template language and guidance from the state, or is this Woodburn specific? That we've adopted, that we've drafted from the school district? Or is this all guidance that's come down from the state?
It's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
The narrative at the beginning was more from the district. And some of the resources about below, we're working closely with different districts, different agencies, different departments. And as guidance comes available and information becomes available, we're looking to see what could we make use of here in Woodburn. And so how do we take what's already been created, maybe make it more personalized to Woodburn and make it available then to our families. So it's both.
Yep, thank you.
And that will be a continued effort as districts, communities, departments are working on similar work. We don't want to just continue to be repetitive in the work, and how do we lean on our colleagues across the state? Hey, this is great work. Can we use this? Hey, can I tap you on the shoulder? I love what I read there. Can we grab that and make that available for us as well? And we're doing the same thing and sharing as we create with other districts as also.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
And I think that adequately addresses my proposed
Right.
agenda item, so thank you.
And so that's why my vote was no, because I knew that the superintendent was going to cover that.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. I wasn't aware of that, so thank you.
Can you add that to the record, why my vote was no? Thank you. So then when we get to that item, do we just skip it? Okay. All right. And so it looks like, are we ready to move on to the next item, to operations? Anything else?
So,
Okay.
yes.
So next, we're going to invite the business office. We're going to hear about the financial report presented by Director Sarah Bishop.
Good evening, school board, superintendent. You have your typical financial report in front of you for the month of December. Nothing terribly exciting to call to your attention. I wanted to provide a little more context about school budgets. If you compare this report to last year's, you'll see overall our spent and encumbered is a little higher than where we were last year in instruction. But if you compare what we've spent year to date, we're actually 6% behind our spent last year. So I think it's important to call attention to some of those things as well, because when you look at, oh, we've spent 96% of our budget. Well, we haven't. Again, the vast majority of our budget is in salaries and benefits, so we like to set those aside. But again, our budget's in a good place for this year. So we're looking good there. I do, if it's okay with you, want to touch on the news today with the federal spending freeze. As you probably have heard, that they are not going to move forward with that presently. We're not 100% sure how it will impact us. We know for sure it won't affect IDEA or Title I if it had gone into effect. Otherwise, we don't believe it'll impact us directly, as we don't receive money directly from the federal government. It's passed through the state. So, but again, that kind of remains to be seen, as there wasn't a ton of guidance out about it today.
So can you tell me a little bit more about that when you said that it's passed through the state? So it's sent from the federal
Correct.
department
To the Oregon Department of Education, and then we claim through them. We claim funds through them. But most of what we receive is in title funding and IDEA funding from the federal government. And they did say that that would not be impacted with a federal spending freeze. The only thing that's kind of up in the air that I was learning a little more about today is our school nutrition funding. Obviously, most of that is federal as well, but we have strong reserves in that account. So I think even if there was a pause in funding, we'd be able to operate seamlessly there. There wouldn't be a concern.
Okay. So I heard you say that if there is some sort of freeze, it would be towards the nutrition program?
That is my understanding at this time.
Yeah, so this is another example of when something happens at the federal level and the trickle down effect, and how we are, cautiously responding to things. And Sarah's been on top of this, really digging into what it means, and we're relying on
Best I can.
partners out there too, like to help us understand what the impact is going to be.
So any impact to us would be minimal at this time.
Thank you for that. I did kind of read that somewhere today.
It'll be interesting to see what else comes out in the next couple weeks. So
Should we be expecting more to come out?
I honestly don't
Potential.
know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, today was a surprise. So.
Yes, today was a surprise. So just keep your ear to the news, and I mean, we'll respond as we can as information comes out. Thankfully, I mean, we have strong organizations in this state with COSA and OSBA and OASBO that help support with us understanding this information. So,
Thank you.
How long could we withstand a freeze on that?
A federal freeze?
Yeah, for example, for like school lunches.
Honestly, we could probably go the rest of the year without any impact, because we do have strong reserves, and the vast majority of our funding is in the general fund, and that's all state level with our state school fund and property taxes.
Okay.
So it would be impactful,
Yeah.
but we'd be able to withstand any freeze.
So if there was a freeze, is there an end to it? We don't know. We don't know.
I wouldn't know.
A lot of uncertainty.
Yeah.
So we'd be able to make it through the end of this school year
Yes.
if there was some.
Yes. Mhm.
Other question? Okay, seeing none, thank you. And moving on to confirmation items. They are presented as follows. The meeting minutes of December 17, 2024, regular board meeting. 2, personnel. 3, acceptance of gifts and donations. If we do not have any questions, I would entertain a motion. And that would be to adopt the confirmation items as
So
presented.
I move to adopt the confirmation items as presented.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor of adopting the confirmation items as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Rosie?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries 4-0 vote. Moving on to item 6, board action items. We have old business. We have a policy update for up for a second reading, the IKJ artificial intelligence policy.
So in your board packet tonight is the second reading of the artificial intelligence policy. We're asking that tonight the board adopt this policy as it's presented in your packet. We'd like to provide this, have this in place to, provide some district directive on direction, board direction on the use of AI in schools. So at this point, we're asking for a recommendation. We've discussed this at previous agenda, and so tonight we're just asking for the adoption of the AI policy.
Can I ask, didn't we already have that policy in place?
We've looked at this policy previously and as first reading and discussed it, but this is a new policy for us.
Any questions around this artificial intelligence policy?
I don't have any questions.
Thank you. If there are no questions, is there a motion to adopt the artificial intelligence policy?
So I move to adopt the artificial intelligence policy.
Thank you. Is there a second? I second the motion. Thank you.
I'll second it.
All in favor of adopting policy IKJ artificial intelligence, please say aye.
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 Motion carries 4-0 vote. Moving on to new business, policy update for first reading.
In your packet, you'll see two policies. These policies are being brought due to one of the changes in House Bill language, primarily that it's changed the definition of a student from somebody who has graduated school from 90 days to a calendar year. And so we're presenting them as first policy read so that you have them unedited as they arrive from OSBA, so you have an opportunity to read those. We'll be bringing them back at a future agenda item for adoption, but they're in your packet tonight just as first read, so you have an opportunity to read the unedited version provided by OSBA.
And these are required by statute?
Yes.
Is the last one optional? I don't see requirement on there.
No. There's a third policy in your packet tonight as well, policy GCAA, Standards for Competent and Ethical Performance of Oregon Educators. That's an optional policy.
So when you, just to clarify, when the student has graduated from high school 1 calendar year, do you mean that if they graduate from high school on June 4th, 2025, then it would go to June 4th, 2026, 1 calendar year from the graduation date?
That's correct. It'll change the language, defines a student as continue to be a student until 1 year, 1 calendar year.
From the time they graduated.
So we don't need any action tonight.
It's just first.
It's just first read, so nothing requiring or asking of the board. They're just here for more for just your information at this point. And we'll have future discussion about them at a future agenda.
Thank you.
So moving on to the next item is land acknowledgement.
So I will, with your permission, I'll start with this.
Go ahead.
Well, this was an agenda item that I brought up. So I always start with, how does this affect students? How is this beneficial for our students? And so I brought up the topic of, should the Woodburn School District or should the board do a land acknowledgement at all of our board meetings? And so I've been doing a lot of research and a lot of studying about it, weighing out the pros and cons. And so I want to talk about the pros, and then the cons. And so how does it benefit our students? I think it provides an opportunity and it sets an example from the district, from the school board, that learning about the history of our area, the indigenous history is important. Regularly mentioning the lands in which our school operates it becomes a part of an ongoing and regular conversation about indigenous culture and their contributions and the current issues that face their communities. It supports our school board's mission of inclusivity. I think that a land acknowledgement is an early step towards a larger commitment to reconciliation. It's bringing forward an important conversation that we all need to have about history and power and the effects of colonialism. It sets an example about respect and humility and inclusion. It acknowledges the history and recognizes the value of diverse perspectives and being responsible citizens. It emphasizes social justice and diversity and equity. And right now there's a huge focus on immigration, and we are all immigrants. We're all sons and daughters of immigrants, and we're all on indigenous land, and I think that's important. We all recognize that. But the more I looked into it, I know that doing a land acknowledgement isn't just something that it's not just a token action, or it could be taken as superficial. And as I did my research, I highlighted in blue things that are good, and green that things that, the pros and the cons. And so some of the cons, that it can be taken as superficial or just this token action without follow-up. There has to be follow-up. If it's done, it needs to foster actual real change to actually support our indigenous communities. And if we're doing a land acknowledgement without doing that, then we shouldn't be doing that. And so it could, if we're doing a land acknowledgement but it's not leading to a deeper discussion, then it shouldn't be done. And so because it might inadvertently, we might overlook or minimize the ongoing issues faced by indigenous communities. And so I don't want to be seen as us just checking a box. Yeah, we did our land acknowledgement, we're good. And so after a lot of thought and a lot of research, so I will not be making a motion tonight to have the board vote on a land acknowledgement. And so we could either make a motion to postpone the motion or just move on. So that's my opinion on that. Yeah, and I'm the one who brought it up because I originally really wanted to do it. But the more I looked into it, without there being concrete action behind it, it's just not appropriate for us to do that. And so if other board members were interested in doing a land acknowledgement and acknowledging the indigenous tribes and the land that we're currently on, I would encourage our school district to take a deeper look at our Native American studies and to go above and beyond what's required by the state as our required teaching, to go above and beyond and to seek counsel from our local tribal members. But as of now, I don't think we as a board are ready to do something like that. So I will not be making a motion to vote on that.
Thank you for sharing, and thank you for doing your research and sharing that with us. Other thoughts? Is there anything you'd like to share, Superintendent Larios?
I'll share just in preparation for this agenda item discussion, we did reach out a couple different times to the Confederated Tribes of the Grand Rod, asking some guidance and how to move forward. We haven't heard back yet, so we'll continue to make some efforts there to try to get in contact with somebody there to help kind of guide that conversation forward.
Thank you.
So I might need some help. So do we, you don't make a motion? Okay, thank you. Okay, so moving on to the next item is board vacancies, board vacancy interviews. Okay. Okay, so welcome to our candidates who are here to interview for the position. We have 6 candidates to interview. All candidates will be asked the same questions in public. To make the interview fair, we will ask for the other candidates to please step out into the lobby until their interview. Once we conclude interviews, we will move on to the next agenda item and appoint a candidate. Before the candidates step out, I would like to thank you for your interest in serving on the Woodburn School Board. We appreciate your time. Actually, I think I'm ahead of myself. I want to thank you for being here. There's a lot of people in here, and so I will call our first interviewee forward, and then the rest of the candidates can wait out in the lobby.
Hey, Rosie. I'm going to email you the questions, and then you receive the packet of the applications on Friday. And then there was one yesterday. But I can send you the whole packet again, and then the questions I'll send you as well.
I got the packet. I just need the questions. I was actually just going to ask you about the questions.
Okay.
So thank you.
I'll send those to you right now.
Thank you.
Okay, so I would like to invite Kay McEwen. Welcome. We have 5 questions to ask. And you will have an opportunity to also ask a question at the end. And so I will go ahead and start in asking the first question, and we'll just move around. Each board member will ask a question. Why are you interested in serving on the school board?
Well, the applications came out and
I have experience not only in the Woodburn School District, but I worked at Willamette University and I worked at University of Portland. Oh, okay. Hi, Rosie. And I worked in Silverton School District and I subbed all over. So I have some experience. I've been in Woodburn since I was 7 years old, went to St. Luke's. So I'm rooted in education. And I just decided, well, if you guys needed service, I could step up and volunteer to. And you said it was a short term, 2025 in June.
Right.
So limited. So that much I can do. And it just depends on how much stamina I have after that, but I have enough experience that I thought, well, I'll volunteer my services.
Thank you.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about your experiences with public schools in Woodburn or elsewhere, including personal connections to current students in the Woodburn School District?
I started teaching in 1990 at Regis High School. And after that, I substituted in Salem school districts, and then I worked for the Silverton School District. And then Pete McCallum and Aldrich hired me here in 1995. And then I started at Lincoln Elementary, a reading specialist. And then I worked at Heritage Elementary when it opened in 1997 as a specialist. When I first started, what were we teaching? 550 kids in the specialist rotation. When I left, it was 850. And I was saying, I teach 850 kids a year, and people's eyes would roll, and I'd say, After I retired in 2011, I substituted for 10 years until COVID came in all the buildings here in the district. And so then I was fortunate being a substitute teacher that when I would go up to the other grades, I already had a relationship with the kids, that I taught from kindergarten through 5th grade. They would say, hello, Mrs. Cookie, do you remember me? And sometimes I did, and sometimes they had changed so much. So then I substituted until COVID came, and then when COVID came, I thought, I think not to go back. I still have ongoing relationships with the kids. I'm house sharing right now with the mother of one of my former students who are now, 2 of her boys, they're in college. So that, I'm still in relationship. And then I will call other students, former students, to come and help me with yard work. And they always say, oh, we got you, Miss McEwen. Don't worry, we got you. So I've been here in the community for a long time. Looking forward to Jenny's chili again. Okay.
Thank you.
And what skills or experience do you bring to this role?
Other than my experience in all the buildings, so I'm familiar with all the buildings and with the policies. I did work at University of Portland as administrative assistant in different programs in theology and youth ministry administration training for 2.5 years before I started teaching. And then I worked as a secretary in Atkinson Graduate School of Management for Dean J. Doubleday. So I have experience as an executive secretary on top of all that. 20 years before I started teaching, I did secretarial work. And I still volunteer as secretary for St. Vincent de Paul. So, yeah.
Rosie, would you like to ask question 4?
Sure.
I
What
voted
are
for
the
you, Rosie. There you go.
Sorry, I'm not there today. There's some bug going around in our office, and I thought I avoided it, but I got it too.
Put Vicks down on the
Anyways,
soles of your feet.
uh, what are the most valuable contributions Woodburn School District makes to the community and why?
You know, I'm comparing listening to the news, and I was thinking, our community is so peaceful in comparison to so many other places, you know? I'm always thankful for that peace. And the Woodburn School District is probably our largest employer in Woodburn, I would think. And so that whole unity and developing the character of community service. The kids would always say to me, Ms. McEwen, aren't you going to retire? And I said, you know, your teachers get sick or they have appointments, and I'm here substituting, I'm here for community service. Well, they get that, you know. And then they would say, chill, Mrs. McEwen. And I'd say, raise your hand if I've taught you before. Hands go, have you ever known me to chill? No, you know. And so this woman that I'm house sharing with, her kids took her aside. And I thought this was, and they instructed her on me as a teacher. Mom, this is how she is. If you're going to live with her, you got to know this is how she is, you know? And that's sort of that whole sense of this is a community. We do community service here. And the kids kind of know that. They get that, you know, it's all. And then I see them all over. I see them at the outlet mall. I see them selling me donuts at Miranda's Bakery. You know, I see the kids, and they always say, hi, Miss Cookie. And I said, you see why I taught you English? I told you you had to, you know, when we grow up, this is a community. And they get that whole sense of community service. Okay. Where do I think you can improve? Well, I don't know, maybe attendance, if it's at 65%, that's a little iffy, you know. You got to be in your seat on time. And that quality is the number one quality that employers look for, that their employees show up on time and are working. And so whenever I go out in the community, you know, my kids are in their spots on time. I always tell them, thank you for working and thank you. And they're very competent. You know, at the outlet mall, they're managing some of those stores and things. And I'm proud of them for stepping up and being competent. So the competency and accountability and being in your seat on time, doing your homework, you know, all of those things are important.
Is there anything you would like to ask the board or anything else you would like to add?
Yeah, what's your primary push right now for the school district? What's your primary goal?
Our primary goal.
For right now, going forth in 2025.
Me finishing up this school year. Am I understanding your question?
What's the overarching aim and goal? Is it just attendance? Is it is the immigration, deportation overwhelming everything right now? Or
So at the beginning of the year, we created goals, and then those goals, and I don't remember all of those goals right now, there's more than one. And then those schools focus on those goals. And so one of those goals, for example, today was attendance. Does anybody else recall the other goals?
what?
Safety.
Safety, yeah.
Yeah,
That's really important.
definitely safety, because if students don't feel safe, they're not going to come to school. So, you know, it's kind of like a chain link together, is that all of the goals have to fit together to move forward. And for them to be successful, everybody has to, fit together and move forward. I think they all connect, all the goals connect. And so we can't just focus on one of them, or else the other ones will bring, the others down. So if we're working on them evenly, then they all will succeed.
Right.
Yeah.
I was impressed with Valor, how Valor has changed that school climate.
Yeah, I think you'll find that's true with all of the schools.
Because
I mean, it's
that goes back to a goal of creating a sense of belonging
That's
and
right.
building relationships.
it's
Now that I
happening.
remember.
And
I was gonna say.
What? Yeah, Ryan, what were you saying?
But I was gonna say, yeah, it's feeling represented and included and a sense of belonging.
Mhm.
And when kids feel like that, they want to show up to school, and that affects attendance, and that affects all aspects of their educational experience.
When I was doing the teacher certification, there was an article they passed out. It was called The Cipher in the Snow. And this kid had died and nobody knew his name when he died. He was anonymous. And so I made it a point that I would call attendance every morning. I would say each child's name every morning, and they would have to say here or not here, because I wanted their name out here, in the air. And that's why I think when I got up to the high school, they would come up during the lunch line, Ms. McEwen, you remember my name? Maybe. But it's important for them to belong and be known by name, important. And I like that safety, but that whole sense of community too. Community is important to me. And I'm thankful my kids were saying, Ms. McEwen, Mom, why don't you move, blah, blah, blah. And I'd say, I have a wonderful support system here and a sense of community here, and that's important. So I'm glad that safety and belonging and attendance are a priority. Graduation rates, how are they doing?
I don't know the graduation rate at the top of my mind.
And,
We're going up.
well,
We saw increasing graduation rates from the previous year to last year, and so we'll see the new rates being released real soon.
that's good. Yeah, those are important. If we're in education, that's what we're here for. Okay. Anything else you want to ask me? Rosie?
Well, I do know one of our goals was to make sure that our students are prepared after they graduate. Are they going to go expand their education, be prepared for a trade, be prepared to the workforce? So they're just not graduating, but also prepared into the world beyond high school.
Yeah,
That's very important.
yeah. I liken it to being shot out of a cannon into the world itself, and landing on your feet. Okay. Anything
Thank you for
Thank you.
joining us.
much?
Is that the Saturday? Did that already?
The cook-off.
Who won? Oh. Was it the same as last
Miguel.
Wasn't the chili cook-off on the 25th?
It was Saturday. And Jenny's team won the Popular Choice Award. So that means we want some.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey, hey, hey.
Good evening.
Hey, guys.
Welcome.
Good.
Hi.
Hey,
Hi.
Miguel. Hi, Miguel.
Thank you for being here. We have 5 questions and they're right before you. We will each take turns in asking you questions and you will have an opportunity to ask a question to us.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and start with the first one. Why are you interested in serving on the school board?
I think the main reason why I'm interested in serving on the school board would because I want to continue making a change. We recently just moved a couple years ago About 2 years ago here to Woodburn from Portland. I have one kid in the school district. He's 7. He goes to Washington. And I've got a baby girl on the way in about 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So we're probably going to be here for a while. When we first came here, I just wanted to get in the community. So I'm a trucker. I have a trucking company, and so I just started with the school bus. I just did the afternoons because that's the only time I had. So I did the school busing thing, or the school busing thing to get to know kids, basically to get to know who was going to be around my son. And I fell in love with that. I love with that. I've been coaching basketball for 12 years, ever since I graduated high school. So basically, I'm coming from it as I don't know much about the school board, but the more I get meeting moms and the more I'm meeting dads, like, hey, you should kind of look into this. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm kind of more the fun guy rather than the serious guy. But the more I researched how much you guys kind of contribute and kind of decisions that you guys made, I was like, okay, well, maybe I could have a spot there. Maybe I could have some opinions or some fresh ideas that could make a change. So I guess I just want to continue helping the community grow as we grow. As me and my girl, we moved here. There's gonna be a lot more people moving here. Down by Ben Brown, we bought a house kind of close there. We've got 300 homes coming up there. I mean, this school district is gonna blow up. Amazon's gonna open up. This whole town's gonna blow up pretty quick, as it pretty already has. So I'm just interested in helping out where I can, keeping kids first. I love kids. I'm all about kids. So I think I answered it. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about your experiences with public schools in Woodburn and elsewhere, including personal connections to current students in the Woodburn School District?
Yep, like I said, I started with the school busing. I've coached basketball for a couple of years. So personal connections I've made. Well, I mean, all the teachers that I've met, mainly at Washington, all the parents that I've met, whether it's waving or dropping off kids at school buses or picking them up, they just kind of know my face around town, or it's having a kid sign up for basketball and they're kind of nervous, and their mom, this is the first time they've ever played a sport, and me just encouraging them, getting them out of their comfort zone, getting them part of a team. They've never been part of a team. They've never been part of anyone cheering them on or giving them positive reinforcement. So that's kind of my background. My connection would definitely be probably to more parents than teachers, just because I see a lot more parents than teachers. And yeah, I think that connection from sports is kind of where I'm coming from with the kids here in Woodburn.
And so what skills or experience do you bring to this role?
Good question. Experience, none,
Yeah.
which might be a good thing. I don't know. It's up to you. No, I don't have any experience with it. I just have experience with people, with kids, with loving kids, wanting my own kid to be successful in school. One thing that kind of perked up my eyes, I don't know if this has anything to do with that question, was my son's in 2nd grade, and I saw that our 3rd graders' reading level is probably 2nd in the state, and my son's reading is not very good in his class. So we're doubling up reading every night. We're trying to get that. Now his mom's bilingual, I'm not. So he's trying to learn both because we don't really speak Spanish at home. His mom speaks a little bit. But that's kind of like one thing that kind of perked my ears up was, okay, is there something that you guys can do or we can do to create a better environment of just reading? Now his math is great, but his reading is, all of our readings, I guess, apparently to that survey was that 3rd grade is, and we're coming up to 3rd grade. So my skills, I think I already answered that. Yeah, just the love of kids and wanting to learn, wanting to be all I can. And and provide for the kids and support for any kids that, especially the ones that are left behind. I kind of know what it's like to be left behind. So the little kids that are left on the bench that no one high fives for, the kids that maybe airball a free throw that the other teammates are kind of last to congratulate. Those are the ones I put right next to me on the bench. Those are the ones that I bring close to me, and those are the ones that get the biggest hoorah from me. That's for sure.
What are the most valuable contributions Woodburn School District makes to the community and why? And can you hear me?
Yep. Do you want me to answer that one
Okay.
first?
Yes, please.
Okay, what am I most proud of? I think the programs, I can only speak for Washington because I only have one kid at Washington. They do good, that we do a lot of things there of just getting together. We have movie nights, which I love going to because a lot of the kids recognize me. We do movie nights there. We do the end of the year, I don't know what the festival we like to volunteer at. We did, they offered parenting classes, which we did last year. So there's a lot of after kind of out of school stuff that I like that we do. If that kind of answers your question.
And what are some areas where you believe the Woodburn School District can improve?
Like I said, I've only been here a few years. Two things that for me and my family would be the reading. And the second of all was the first year we were here, I was seeing someone about gangs. I'm not big on gangs, don't like gangs. And I actually saw there was like a poll on a dress code. Now I'm not sure I'd vote for a dress code, but I can see the importance and I can see why people would want to do that. And I'm big on like, I remember when I was young and I remember kind of not knowing who I was. We all were young. You don't know who you are, so you want to be tougher than you are. And I can see at 15 how some of these kids might be like, well, this is what my older cousin does. This is how he dresses, this is how he acts, this is what he does, I can relate to that. I chose a different path. But I'm concerned that if that, like, I don't want that to be an influence on kids who might be swayed either way, right? Which could be my kids, which could be your kids, which could be anyone's kids. So those two things is the reason why I'm here today. Is gang related stuff and reading for sure.
Thank you. And question number 5, is there anything you would like to ask the board or anything else you would like to add?
I'm probably the least experienced, least qualified one here, but thank you for your time. Thank you for all you do. It has helped my son. He came not knowing much Spanish, not knowing really anything reading. We came at kindergarten. He's now doing pretty good. We're really excited about his progress. We're excited about my niece. She's the grade lower, and I've got a baby girl on the way. She'll be coming up here in 3 or 4 years to kindergarten. So I'm just excited about being here in Woodburn. I'm excited about what Woodburn has to offer and what I have more to offer to Woodburn. So thank you for your time, guys. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you for your honesty.
Thank you.
I have zero experience with it.
Hi, Devin, welcome.
Hello. Hi.
We have 5 questions to ask. You've got the questions before you. And we will each take turns in asking a question. And I will start with question number 1. Why are you interested in serving on the school board?
So, for me, school has always been, I guess, growing up, all the good things that happened in my life happened around school. because I experienced pretty heavy poverty growing up. And so school was always, you know, kind of a refuge, I guess. And so I had a really good experience. And then, I went to college, and I guess education has just, lifted me out of poverty, and, all the great things that happened in my life because of education. And I want to do whatever I can to help help the other kids, help all the kids, in our town have that same experience and support that. So,
Thank you. Okay, can you tell us a little bit about your experiences with public schools in Woodburn or elsewhere, including personal connections to current students in the Woodburn School District?
so both my kids have gone to school here in town for their whole schooling, and then I've been involved in volunteering and the parent clubs pretty much the whole time they've been in school, and then some experience running a club with school. Once when my daughter was in school, and then with my son, we did a video game making club. There's a Oregon competition to do that, like a video game science fair. But anyway, yeah, I ran the club for that, and I'm involved with so right now I'm involved with the parent club and then the site council at French Prairie. My son's going there. He's in 7th grade. And so, do a fair amount of work with them. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. So what skills or experience do you bring to this role?
So my job as principal engineer, well, first I have to work with a really big group of very diverse people, and we have a office in Portland, and then also offices in or plants in China and India as well. And what I do is I develop kind of the basic design guidelines for a lot of our products, and so I have to develop those in a way that can be shared and understood by a very diverse group of people. And so I have to collaborate a lot with engineers, with the kind of regulatory people, because I do work in automotive, and I've worked in aerospace and stuff before, and do a lot of process development and procedures and policy development. Yeah, so I guess my experience, in working with a lot of different people in developing processes and policies, and understanding, do a lot of work with kind of regulatory stuff in aerospace and with the automotive, and so that's not what we're doing with the school district, but I'm familiar with kind of research and that sort of thing, and understanding those kinds of things, and developing processes and policies around those. So I guess a basic skill set that I think I can be a lot of help with as far as that goes.
Oh, sorry. What are the most valuable contributions Woodburn School District makes to the community, and why?
So I guess at a basic level, the school district, like I said, providing education, but also providing for the well-being of the kids, with the lunch program and the after-school program and, having all the support, all different support roles at the schools.
And what are some areas where you, oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, just the activities we do at school that the community can be involved in, I think are really, really valuable. Like when we have concerts or plays or, all of that, all those good different activities. Sorry, go ahead.
And what are some areas where you believe the Woodburn School District can improve?
So I think, I'll just speak from my experience kind of at French Prairie. We've had a lot of turnover. I think we're on our third principal in the last year and a half, couple of years. And then, so there's a lot of, I guess the turnover and shuffling around. And so a lot of experience and know-how is lost as, as people come and go. And so as a district, if we can kind of do more work to, I guess, institutionalize, that's not a great word, but kind of, understand all those things, the systems and processes that make the school work and like have more consistent application of those. And then also, do more work to kind of find and retain, the people. Because like we changed principals and then I thought the new principal was pretty great. And then they've kind of moved on like almost immediately. And so I guess doing more work to kind of find those people and then keep those people and then find the people that are doing a good job already and make sure that they're willing to stay and share their experience, I guess. And then the other thing, I kind of think about a lot with my son, being in middle school, is getting more support for the kids so that they can have better interactions with each other, better social skills, and more community involvement and kind of coming together, I guess, as a community, and then learning more social skills, and a lot of conflict resolution, because my son has run into some issues around that, and so we kind of have to confront that a lot, I guess, on a daily basis. So, I think those are my two main things.
And our last question, is there anything you would like to ask the board or anything else you would like to add?
I guess, especially after I was here for the meeting, so hearing about the immigration and the changes to the education department and funding, and there's a lot of things coming our way that are going to be very, very challenging. And so, I guess I'd say I'm willing and, very much want to help to meet those challenges. And I think I have the skills to do that. And I hope I can be in a position to help as we, come up against those things. So.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Hi, Bria. Thank you for joining us today. We have 5 questions. Okay. We will each ask a question, and you'll have an opportunity to ask a question if you'd like from us at the end. Okay. So I'll go ahead and start with the first one. Or are you interested in serving on the school board?
So I'll start with an intro. I'm Bria Hawker, and I am back again. You might recognize me. This is my second try, and I hope that demonstrates to you my seriousness and commitment to be on the school board. And I am interested in joining the board. First and foremost, I'm a mother. I want to be on the school board because I have 2 young sons who will be enrolled in our public school system for many years to come. My 6-year-old is in kindergarten at Lincoln Elementary School. And just like I wish for him, I wish for all kids to get the best public education possible. I also have a calling in my life to public duty. I want to serve my community. So when I heard about the vacancy on the board, I thought, why not take the opportunity to serve Woodburn? And my favorite quote is, "Be the change you wish to see in the world," Gandhi. And I really do try to encompass that every single day. So I'm here. I also want to be an advocate for all students. I'm not concerned with, nor will I be distracted by, partisan politics or personal agendas. To me, kids are always the focus. I have personal connections to Woodburn. My son attends a public school. My youngest child is 2, but I'm definitely counting down the days till he can enroll in school. So I have a long-term commitment to the district now and in the future. My other personal connection is that my mother is currently one of the longest tenured teachers in Woodburn. She has over 27 years of service to the Woodburn School District. That's many years of love, dedication, and loyalty. Some of the students she taught in kindergarten and 1st grade are actually teachers for the school district now. I hope to carry on her remarkable legacy by joining the school board.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, can you tell us a little bit about your experiences with public schools in Woodburn or elsewhere, including your personal connections to current students in Woodburn School District?
So I have experience as a parent with a child in our school system now, so I can relate to other parents' thoughts and concerns and feelings. I have experience with Woodburn teachers. I understand their needs and their perspectives. So as a candidate, I can really understand the full picture. And not only was I raised by a teacher, but I come from a long line of teachers. My grandmother was a 1st grade public school teacher. My grandfather was in school administration, so I can also understand the administrative perspective. He also taught business and typing classes to high schools.
What skills or experience do you bring to this role?
I have a lot of valuable experience that I think could really strengthen the school board. I attended the University of Oregon, where I studied journalism and communication. Because of my studies in higher education, I'm a fast researcher and analyzer. I know how to find facts and true information from accredited sources, and I also know how to identify misinformation. I'm a fast reader who is quick in comprehension and critical thinking. I'm also an efficient learner who is open to new points of view. I'm a good listener. I know the importance of listening to others, even if their opinion is different than mine. And I'm comfortable with public speaking. I'm also a business owner. For my career, I own and operate a successful real estate team. My experience as a realtor would be very beneficial to the board because I excel in organization, time management, and leadership. I spend an abundance of time in project management, and I'm a professional problem solver and skilled negotiator. My job also requires me to work with people from different socioeconomic backgrounds and cultures. I'm a very successful communicator. I also have a positive attitude and know how to work with a team. I negotiate complex real estate deals, navigate complicated transactions, run my own business, maintain my code of ethics, all while convincing two little boys to share their Hot Wheels, eat their vegetables at dinner, and yes, they have a bedtime, which I hope my husband is doing right now. So I'm also very good at multitasking. So there's no challenge I can't take on. I also have a passion for our youth. Here's a fun fact. You're looking at the 4-season undefeated Woodburn YMCA kindergarten basketball coach. And I am currently coaching the Hooping Dino Wolves to victory. And all of my team comes from our local Woodburn schools, and it is my favorite way to spend my spare time volunteering and watching their growth. It's awesome.
What are the most valuable contributions Woodburn School District makes to the community and why?
The kids are our future, and it all starts with the Woodburn School District. What a wonderful responsibility you guys have. You get to water the seeds of our youth and watch these children grow and bloom in education. The love felt in a classroom can continue to inspire their lives with the contributions they make to society and their careers. I think that's what you guys have been doing on the board, and I thank you for your service. And we see that by having kids who come back to Woodburn to be on the school board, Ryan Beyer, or who are taught by my mom and come back and become teachers as well. So I think the school board has done really amazing work in continuing our growth.
And what are some areas where you believe the Woodburn School District can improve?
We do a lot of things really well, but I think our district could do better at hearing from younger voices. We need younger people and fresh voices involved in decision-making. The average age of a first-time parent ranges from 21 to 27, and the average age of a parent with a kindergartner is 32. I can really understand this demographic. Education has also changed drastically in the last 10 years with culture and technology, especially since COVID. There may be other candidates here tonight who have years of awesome experience in education, but I sit in front of you now as a proud millennial who understands what's currently happening now. I can add to the diversity of the school board by being a voice for millennials and Gen Z, perspectives of a different generation. Bringing this new angle to the board would grow community involvement at a time when our numbers and parent clubs and site councils are lacking. We need to bring young people in and inspire them to join us. I can do that.
Is there anything else you'd like to ask the board or anything you would like to add?
Yes. I feel I can bring a special and valuable perspective to the school board. One, as a parent. Two, with my understanding of teachers. And three, as a realtor who sees Woodburn's rapid growth and the changes on the horizon coming. I want to collaborate with all of you and on behalf of our students. I want to keep kids our main focus and continue the hard work of the board. Thank you for considering me for the school board. It's been an honor sitting before you today. I look forward to the hard but rewarding work ahead.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have a question for you guys.
Oh, nice.
What's an aspect of the school board that you feel is missing, and how could I bring that to the table?
Do you have an answer for us? Just curious.
Well, I'm just wondering what would, make a good teammate for you guys, because we need to work as a team.
I think that right now, an aspect that's missing is that we're not complete.
Mm-hmm.
So we're missing one person, and so we need our complete board. That's definitely, one thing is that, we're missing one of us. And I think that, that no matter who is selected, that every single person brings something to the table,
Mm-hmm.
and that we definitely need someone who's open to learning, and like the things that you're mentioning. There's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
There's a lot of regulations, and so whoever is selected just has to be ready to hit the ground running and come alongside everyone and be willing to work together as a team. And I think that it's exciting work, very exciting work.
Hard work, but good work.
Yeah.
Fulfilling work.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for your consideration.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
I can't speak for what's missing for the board, but I could speak to my own weaknesses where I'm a lumper. And sometimes we get huge packets of policy. And I feel like sometimes we need somebody who could really dig in there and really go through that page by page and find some of the nuances.
That's me.
And find some of the nuances in there, and where sometimes that's not me.
I love to read.
And so, to your question, sometimes I can't speak to the rest of the board, but my strength is not in the detail, and sometimes I'm just lumping it, and so.
I love detail. Ask
So-
my husband. Yeah.
So, anyways, so.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi.
Hello.
So we have a series of 5 questions to ask, and they're right before you. We will go around and ask one of the questions. And so I will go ahead and start with the first question. First question is, why are you interested in serving on the school board?
I'm born and raised in Woodburn, and I've recently, for most of my adult life, I kind of have worked in a job where I don't interact with many people and don't really go out in my community. And recently I've kind of, tried to change that. And I think that, at least for me, being a part of my community is really, really helpful. And it's really gratifying to be able to, look out for people in the community, and especially in with the current political climate. So I think that, being, a part of school board would be, I think I could really contribute to the community and help look out for our kids and, our families that, are probably going to struggle, especially in the next 4 years. So.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about your experiences with public schools in Woodburn or elsewhere, including personal connections to current students in Woodburn School District?
Yeah, as I said, I went to Woodburn Schools, elementary through high school, and my mom is a substitute teacher at mostly at Woodburn High, so she kind of keeps me in the loop about students that have given her trouble or interesting things that are going on. But I don't have a family. I don't have any kids, so unfortunately, I can't speak for directly saying, I have a kid in school, but I hope to raise a family here in Woodburn, and I would like to have Woodburn School District be as good to my kids as it was to me, because I think that as far as resources and having perhaps maybe unusual, trying to think the word, diversity as far as the kids that I grew up with and the opportunities I was given. So I think that Woodburn School District has a lot of strengths as far as, being very diverse and having interesting people to, grow up with and teachers and stuff like that. So.
What skills or experience do you bring to this role?
So I have a degree in resource management from Oregon State. I also spent, prior to last year, 5 years managing a store. So I have ability to make hard decisions and, try and plan to the future for my own success and for the success of the things I'm responsible for. Yeah, and I kind of know a little bit about how Woodburn schools work on either side, as far as having the background with a mom who is a teacher in Woodburn schools and growing up in Woodburn School District. So.
What are the most valuable contributions Woodburn School District may make to the community and why?
I think it was really covered a little bit in some of the issues that were brought up during earlier in the meeting, when you guys were talking about kind of being a safe haven for students and allowing parents hopefully to not have too much worries about their children in the schools, no matter what their status is. And I also think that stuff like free school lunches, I know I really appreciated it when I grew up, and I know that stuff like that, where Woodburn School District can really take some of the burden off of families that are already struggling, especially these days with, stuff how it is, that Woodburn School District can really, be not only helpful for students, but families as a whole. So, be a pillar to help people survive. So.
And what are some areas where you believe the Woodburn School District can improve?
Well, I know, at least I think I know, that Woodburn School District traditionally has pretty poor test scores compared to other communities statewide, and that's partially down to, you know, the diversity here. And I think, at least in my opinion, a lot of why that struggles is because there can be a big disconnect between how, you know, what's important for, say, our Anglo teachers, not that all teachers are Anglo, but how, you know, a lot of the community events or sports are maybe perhaps besides soccer are, you know, less focused towards our, you know, more diverse people in our community. So I think that Woodburn School District could probably improve by finding ways to bring more of the people who are maybe disconnected in Woodburn schools in by finding new ways of, you know, interesting them in extracurricular activities, and therefore helping them build community and being more invested in school.
And our last question, is there anything you would like to ask the board or anything else you would like to add?
Don't think so, but you know, it's always the questions that come after you walk out the door. So
Well, we appreciate you coming and making time to interview for this position.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Hi.
Thank you for being here and being patient as you wait. We have here 5 questions to ask.
Okay.
We will each ask a question, and I'll go ahead and start with the first question.
Okay.
Why are you interested in serving on the school board?
Well, I've had 20 years as a parent with kids going here. My oldest, I was actually in the first cohort of bilingual at Lincoln. And so I've been an interested parent for a long time, and I actually have more availability, and I'd like to think wisdom than I might have in the past. And, you know, just in preparing for this, you know, Woodburn is really, we really got to get the word out. There are so many things that if you look at other districts, we have a lot going on here, really, truly. I mean, just start with the school lunches. They're good. They're healthy. You go to other places and it's like, ugh. There's no fees, right? We have really taken down a lot of the barriers that we take for granted, that we can offer our kids, that our bilingual program, I mean, we're not just a state leader, we're a national leader. We have been. I'd like to keep it going that way. So those are some of the reasons. I have a background in education as well as child development. I'm familiar with educational law. I have a special needs child who is my postdoctoral education. And I got to tell you, I am pleased to report he has not been in trouble one time this year. And I mean, you don't even know how big a deal that is. So we have journeyed we've got the tag story, we've got the bilingual story, and we got the special ed baby, my bonus boy. And my
I'm kind of a policy wonk. And just Woodburn is given, we have a really deep sense of place here, even though I'm still kind of new after 26 years. So I'm invested.
Thank you. Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about your experiences with public schools in Woodburn or elsewhere, including personal connections to current students in the Woodburn School District?
Well, I got a good start on that, didn't I? So I grew up in private schools. Like, our kids are the only kids that grew up in public schools out of my 19 cousins. And so public school has been an education for me. I came from very tight experiences, and I've been taken aback at the lack of parent involvement and not even feeling very encouraged as a parent always. I mean, the words are there, but then when you show up, it's awkward. At least that's how it felt to me. And my husband's like, I don't know what your problem is, right? It's cultural. And so I've had to learn. I chose to have my kids in public school, knowing the strengths of a private school situation there are, but there's also things that they don't offer. And I always felt that not having rubbed shoulders with people was a disadvantage for me as a public school. Like, I knew how to do my bubble. I didn't know how to do the bigger bubble very well. And I didn't want that for my kids. Also, the opportunities, I mean, unless you're going to Jesuit or somewhere, right? The public schools offer far more activities and enriching, national science competitions, the bilingual, just more resources, and especially for special ed, there's more resources. So that's kind of my experience. And I know, you keep getting some new young principals, and I don't know them as well, but I know all the old timers. And I just, again, I have a deep sense of belonging. That said, as a minority family, there's growing pains. There's been a real shift in demographics. When Anna started, there was 50-50 in her first grade or kindergarten classroom. And now my younger two children, that was my oldest, my younger two children are, one of maybe 3 white kids. And I use white kids because that's what they get called, the white kids. And so that's been a change of cultural for me. And I think that's okay, that you don't always get to be king of the hill as far as your dominant culture, right? And learning to flex, that's okay. And there's challenges. There's been bullying. There's been, kind of lonesome feelings, and that's okay. I mean, it hasn't been fun, but it gives me empathy and a better understanding. And also the strengths that Woodburn offers are kids who are coming from ESL, English is their second language. There's another thing though, when I first moved here 26 years ago, the first generation was a really thing. I think we need to recognize, maybe the majority of our kids are not first generation, they're third generation. And they have different needs. And I think we need to bring expectations that we can, come on, we need to figure out the magical recipe for accommodating those cultural differences and understanding them and how that impacts learning and navigating the educational system. But also, I mean, helping kids make real connections, why this matters, connecting to that work world. This is how you're going to get what you want. And so really investing, because I've had kids, I've substituted, and I've had kids who are like, why does this matter? I'm not going to succeed. There's like 50% chance I'm going to succeed. I'm like, succeed at what? You're going to succeed at something. It might not be what you want us, you know. School gives you options. And I think we want to open up this world. I want to see the kids be familiar with professionals. I want to see them. Let's get them to meet some surgeons at the hospital. Let's get them down and talk to the judges. You know what I mean? Let's get their world, because what I'm finding is a lot of these kids don't have the same background knowledge. And that's part of that privilege. That's part of that. My kids had kind of a greased system for them, right? Mom and dad know how to negotiate it. You know, my neighbors might not. And my grandparents were immigrants. My grandparents grew up not speaking English at home. And my grandmother did not finish elementary education. She was very intimidated through the educational system. My parents were able to get through school, and in part because an older sibling helped pay, right? Greasing that way. But I've had the privilege, I've never worried about it in a day in my life, right? It's easy. But it wasn't for my my mother particularly, and certainly my grandparents. So I have a real affinity for that immigrant experience. And I'm horrified, as I would imagine all of us are, about our current climate. And I'm just really grateful we're in Oregon. And I would work very hard to protect and ignore. What else can you do?
What skills or experience do you bring to this role?
So I would say that in addition to being a parent, I was a teacher. So I have a bachelor's in education, and I taught 4th grade, and then I taught preschool. And I tell you what, the preschoolers, and then I worked with middle schoolers, and the preschoolers taught me more about how to teach middle schoolers than my 10-year-olds had. So I understand how schools work. I have substituted recently in the last few years, kind of starting after COVID, just because, I mean, if you went to the district office and knock on the window, they'll put you in that day, right? It's changed. And I am not a good fit for the classroom anymore. It is rough. It is hard work. And the demands on teachers have changed so dramatically, you know, in the last 20 years, let alone 30 years. And so I have a real appreciation for that as well. But more importantly, what I feel like I have to bring to this group is actually expertise working in with legal matters and advocating for children and speaking to power and holding my own to power. Or I'm not worried about being, I don't need a fan club, you know what I mean? I can speak to power. I'm used to testifying as an expert witness, and sometimes judges disagree with me, and that's you know, that's how the system works. But I know how to negotiate. I know how to work within professional arenas.
What are the most valuable contributions Woodburn School District make to the community, and why?
Most valuable contribution. What are the most valuable contributions make to the community? Well, they're our workforce. They are our future moms and dads. They're our kids, right? What do our kids make? What are the most valuable Woodburn School just makes to the community, and why? If you don't have good schools, you don't have parents moving here, and we need young parents. We need people who are invested in the schools, who see why their kids aren't all done, so we don't care anymore so much. And this is something I really want to get across. We have had not just experience here in Woodburn, but we have had experience in other districts. And what I found really some disappointing, their scores were much higher. And as a result, you had some teachers thinking everything was fine, and it was just plain old dead wood. I'd never had that experience here. Well, you know, you've had some more enthusiastic teachers than others, but I never felt like they were just resting on their laurels. I feel like the Woodburn District is really, truly, it is such an asset, and it's really the hub of our town. I mean, that's one of the things, there's a lot of life here, and it's because of our kids.
What are some areas where you believe the Woodburn School District can improve?
Well, you know, there's always those test scores. Although I don't think test scores are actually a very good reflector on necessarily learning goals. I had a kid, one of mine at home, who is known to just turn off the computer mid-test because he's tired of it. So they don't always tell you how much has really been gained. And I think that there's multiple ways to assess learning gains. And again, I think it needs to come back to real tact, how you might use this information, how does it apply to your life? And I think that we can work on developing those enriching experiences for kids, because that's what I think tying the academic to those meaningful experiences and narrative stories. I think that I'm very pleased that we are on, I believe, our second year of a superintendent. I'd like to see that we continue stability, continue. My kids, I've watched, I feel like we're doing better about principals, not just being moved around all the time. I think that I see growth in that way. I want to see it continue. I think that we can do continuing to grow our own teachers. I think we can, work on retaining teachers is a big deal, right? And people who live in the community tend to stay, and it's really expensive to take younger teachers in, and but they live too far away from here, and so when the school opening in their neighborhood, that's where they go, understandably. So I think growing our own, I think maintaining our bilingual, the lead, I'm a little concerned that we've taken our eye off of that. I think that we definitely need more science emphasis, not just reading and writing because of the tests. I think there's ways to integrate. I would love to see, again, that word enrichment. And science is reading and math is part of science. I mean, why can't we integrate, make it that way? And I understand that we have federal curriculum handed down to us. Who knows? Maybe that's I don't know. We don't know federal right now. But what I do know is that change happens at the grassroots, and that we just need to decide what we are going to grow. And I think we have to team. Our money is always going to be a deal. And I think being a wise steward, being creative, and really going for measurable gains. Why do we think this is working? I want to know. I mean, it just sounds nice. Okay, how many people is this really touching? How are we, and nimble. Things are changing so much faster, right? And we remaining nimble and helping our teachers stay energized and feel respected and understand, all jobs are hard. Careers are hard. And we need to figure out what helps teachers thrive, and so they can help the kids thrive. Those are things.
And our last question, is there anything you would like to ask the board or anything else you would like to add?
So how many hours would you say, I understand the meetings and whatnot, but like commitment, weekly, monthly, behind the scenes, that someone like myself who has not done the work to know, I have the availability. I'm just kind of curious to know what that looks like.
I would say from here until the end of June.
it is a busy time. It will be a busy time. We have bargaining for both classified and certified. From my experience in the past, those can be lengthy. I don't think we have dates for when those might start. And then also, we have our board meetings. We will be meeting in executive session, and those can run lengthy. Any other thoughts on time commitment?
Well, in addition, you would probably want to do independent training by reviewing webinars. And each of those is probably an hour. And then when you get, the new person gets material, you do as much reading and reviewing on your own. It could be apart from meetings and that.
So there is onboarding for the candidate who is selected. And then with that comes, like Courtney mentioned, like learning what is the role of the school board member, policy, and anything else
Right.
connected to
Right.
that. And we have the budget coming up as well.
Right. Right. And I feel like I have a good running start on that, on those issues. The other thing, okay, so here's my question. What's the hardest part, do you feel like, in your experience? What are the biggest challenges?
The challenging part.
For me, it's coming home from my 40 to 50 hour a week job, and
Yeah.
I haven't seen my kids today.
Right.
I came right from my job here, and they're already in bed, and that's kind of hard.
I was on the church board many years ago, and
So
I
it's
relate
the
to
time
that.
commitment.
Yeah.
It's the time commitment.
Yeah.
That kind of goes back to your previous
Yeah.
question, yeah.
Right. Okay.
I think for me, it's that when you start a new position anywhere, typically, you usually sit side by someone. And, they open a manual
Sure.
and they,
Mhm.
start showing you. And a lot of this is independent. And there's a lot of regulations about what you can discuss, what you can't discuss. So, you can't just like email the group and say, hey, I have a question for everybody. Because you can't ask everybody.
In a group set. Okay, I got it.
Right.
Right.
So I would-
Protocols.
I would
Right.
say being self-driven, but there's also resources.
Right.
Yeah.
Lots of resources.
Lots of resources available. Jenny's available, OSBA is available. You can do consultations with them. You can reach out to the board chair. It can kind of guide you as to where, but most of it is like, one, you coming forward and asking, like, I'm kind of stuck here. We direct you just to learning, and
Yeah.
you do the learning on your
Right.
own, that part on your own, but
Yeah.
we're available.
Okay.
But you would be like making a list of all your questions. and
Sure.
everything.
Sure. Right. Right. Okay.
But it's good stuff that you're learning. I mean,
Yeah.
you get hungry
Sure.
for it. Very
Sure.
hungry
And
for
if you
it.
come to the meetings and yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else?
Oh. Like, oh, you've been smiling, so I'm like, okay. So, the other question then is for this particular position, I've kind of gotten mixed message. Would this position require then running right away? Because it says till 27.
This position ends June of 2025 of this year.
Isn't it position 1?
However, because it's an election year, voters get to vote on who will complete the remaining, is it 2 years?
Okay,
2 years.
that's why.
So there is the opportunity once to run when that
Yeah.
comes up in the spring.
Yeah.
But for this,
The opportunity.
for today,
Yeah,
it's from February to end of June of this year.
Yeah.
That's why it's the perfect position for the candidate to determine if this is really
Right.
something that they want to
Little
embrace.
training wheels there, see how
Yes,
it feels.
it's
Okay.
perfect.
All right. Yeah, I think that was covered it.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming and being here. Okay, well, welcome back. So there is a policy connected to vacancies on the board. I will go ahead and read what is next. So it states here, when there are 3 or more candidates, the board will continue to vote until 2 candidates each have a greater number of votes than any other candidate. In such voting procedure, each board member will vote for 2 candidates. So do we start there? You want to go ahead? Okay. Questions or discussion? Okay. Well, I'll start. I want to thank everybody for being here and for taking time to, one, consider this position. I think all the candidates have unique qualities and skills for this role, and it's just a matter of, as a board, selecting one individual to fill that position. Any discussion?
I just want to look through here for just a second.
So do we start with each candidate and as a group talk through each one, or does each board member talk through each candidate?
Well,
Anything we want.
discussion would be, I mean, one thing I'm thinking is, we're filling a position for the next 5 months.
And we need to consider the events that are going to be happening for the next 5 months.
Right.
Bargaining, is that what you're referring to?
Well, we have bargaining, we have budget. What else is coming up in the next 5 months?
And school-related events.
I thought there was one more thing that we were talking about. Sorry. So this person would be selected tonight, would be sworn in when?
February 11th, your next board meeting.
Oh, next meeting, okay.
So are there any questions anybody who has or discussion points?
Well, I'm just reviewing my notes. Since each of us is voting for 2 people and it's basically process of elimination, correct? Okay. As I recall, previously, there was some discussion and people were basically talking a little bit about why they were leaning to a candidate or not.
Yeah, you can have that conversation now. The other thing you can also do is do the round one and vote for your two and see if that narrows down your list
Okay.
and then have a discussion.
Okay.
But yeah, you can have the discussion now, have a discussion later.
I guess I could just provide some of my comments on each of the candidates while we're thinking about them and stuff. Is that okay?
Or you could talk about maybe who you're favoring and why. You wanna?
So for number one, I mean, Kay, I think she has her decades of relationship with kids and her dedication to the school district and all of her experience working in the school district and probably the thousands of kids she's worked with, I think is absolutely invaluable. Miguel, his enthusiasm, it's like palatable. You could just see it and feel it like he's a huge asset to the community. And him having no experience really kind of hit home because I had no experience when I interviewed here. And Devin, I mean, guy's a principal engineer. You could really tell that he just really wants to give back to the community, and he's involved. He's volunteers. He's in site council. I mean, those are all awesome things. Bria, parent, has all of the connections with the teachers. Her mom is awesome. The administration with her business, just her and her coming back here for this, I think really speaks to her dedication to wanting to be on the board, and her involvement in the community. I think just really speaks a lot to her dedication to the process and her wanting to do this. Alexander, him being a product of Woodburn, being raised in Woodburn, I think is important. And Lisa, all of the experience that she brings, it's just a tough decision. I guess it's just, I know that didn't help anything. I just wanted to get my thoughts out there. But having all said, if I had to vote for two, it'd be Bria and Lisa.
You do have to vote for two.
Yeah.
Are those your votes?
Those are my votes.
Okay, for round one.
Lisa and Miguel.
Lisa and Devin?
Miguel.
Oh, Miguel. Okay.
Kay and Alexander.
Who was your first person? I'm sorry, Rosie?
Kay.
Kay McEwen? And Alexander?
Correct.
Okay.
Lisa and Alexander.
Okay. So moving to round two, we have Lisa Carr, and she had two votes. Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. Lisa Carr with 3 votes, and then Alexander Hunt with 2 votes. So in the next round, each board member will vote for one person.
I'll vote for Alexander.
Vote for Lisa.
Alexander. Lisa.
Okay, so each candidate received 2 votes. So then you go to round 3 and you vote for either or.
Go again.
Yes. So in order for a candidate to be selected, you have to have majority vote by the board. And so you have to have a 3-1 at least.
Can we have discussion?
Yeah, yes, of course.
So I'm just curious for if anybody's willing to share their selection of candidates and what they see.
I think Lisa's education and experience set her apart.
How about those advocating for Alexander?
Pardon me?
Those advocating for Alexander?
I am because I think it is very commendable when we have someone who has gone through the Woodburn School system from beginning to end and then has desires to be on the Woodburn School Board. And that was one of the things that was very admirable when I first started coming to meetings here. And they called it championing. And that was one of the things that people talked about a lot was that when someone started out as like a kindergartner in the Woodburn School District, and then they went all the way through schools and then went to college and then came back and then lived in Woodburn and then wanted to become a member of the Woodburn School Board. That was very commendable because they were pouring back into the community. And I think it is exciting that he wants to come back and try it out and to try to make a difference here in Woodburn for this short period of time and pour back into the community. And that he, went to kindergarten all the way up to 12th grade and that he's coming back to give it a try. And I do think that Lisa has a wonderful amount here, but just like she shared, there's going to be an opportunity where she could seek out election later if she wanted to do that, just like any of the other candidates. But I do think that this is an exciting time for Alex to take advantage.
Well, as a born, raised graduate of Woodburn High, moved away, moved back, and work in the community, and so is Alexander. And he doesn't have a root in a foot in the race like everybody else does. They all have kids that go to the schools. His only main connection is he was born here, he was raised here, he graduated, he has a degree, and his mother is a teacher at the high school. So of course, he's part of the community, and he's got the it shows that he wants to focus on diversity, knows the strengths, he sees the traditions, the resource management background, and the strengths and the diversity of what this over the years, what this community has to offer. So, that's why I believe like he would be a fresh, young, diverse change to the board, in my opinion.
You know, Lisa being one of the original cohort or the bilingual cohort, I think she has a deep understanding of that program and understanding of the importance of it into Woodburn. And I think that's incredibly important. You know, she has a Bachelor of Science or she in education. She's been a fourth grade teacher. She's worked in middle schools. She understands the demands of teachers. She understands the classrooms. She's worked in that professional arena. She understands the school district. And she understands the challenges that our teachers and our administrations and our school districts is facing. And I think that's critical. In addition to you know, the legal matters and the policy and all of those aspects is something that she really excels in.
So I'm hearing experience versus providing an opportunity to serve. Is that kind of right?
Well, I think that Alexander also has college degree from OSU in resource
Right.
management. He's managed a store and hasn't had to make hard decisions. I mean, he's second generation Woodburn family. I mean, he's talked about all the things that he knows about Woodburn. I mean, I think that when Bree Hawker was talking about, you know, all the good things about how we need to hear about a younger generation, you know, I think that he is that younger generation too. I mean, I think I read on his application too that he's, you know, pursuing a
Medical school.
yeah, a career. I mean, I feel like it's I think it's you know, a combination of both.
So we're gonna vote now?
Are you ready to vote? So I guess for me, I want to understand, in filling this position that's going to end in June, what are we looking for in a candidate? I mean, that'll help me. Like what gap do we feel is missing that we want to fill from here until then? Any thoughts?
Could you say it a little bit louder?
Yeah, Rosie, can you hear Noemi?
No, I don't know.
Sorry.
I can barely hear Courtney or Naomi.
So, I think my thoughts are around, one, we're looking to fill a position from February to end of June. And my question is, and it would help me understand, What are we looking for? Like between
What
now and
now?
then, between now and then, what gap are we wanting to fill?
Well, I think, isn't that listed here on the front of the job announcement, the position announcement?
Right, but in thinking of what we have ahead.
Well, that's what I was trying to clarify in the beginning when I said, okay, we have bargaining and we have budget. Is there something more that we should be talking about?
I feel like
that
we
we're
have
looking-
two unique candidates remaining, and so I'm just trying to understand so that I can understand.
Well, and even with budgeting, a board member doesn't have to be on the budgeting team, so that's not necessarily a thing to consider.
Right, okay, so we're putting that, by the way.
Well,
for
being
someone
aware of
we're looking
it.
For someone
Yeah.
who is going
yeah, I'm
to
just
be,
I'm just trying to think, what are the key events then?
Right.
What are the key events between now and June that we need to? I don't know, because I wasn't,
haven't
I was,
been bargaining
Oh,
with
you weren't here.
I wasn't here last
So,
year,
I
so.
guess I'm looking for some guidance then,
Yeah.
Mhm.
because I haven't been in bargaining. So can you help guide us to what that kind of person or candidate?
The bargaining.
should
Well, I think
be.
it was mentioned earlier, flexibility, time,
Okay.
being available.
A lot or like,
I mean, it's hard to say
Yeah.
what that would look like. But it is a lot and it is lengthy.
like what, 10 hours a week, 20 hours a week? What are you talking
Oh,
about?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know
that
what
means.
bargaining looks like. I mean, can you speak to that one?
Well, there's still like some uncertainty on like just what the time commitment's going to be, but we do know there'll be regular meetings a couple times a month, most likely. But I think, Courtney referenced the qualities and qualifications kind of per se in the on the policy, and number 5 speaks to that the candidate must be willing and able to make the sacrifices of her time, knowledge, and personal pleasures for the benefit of the district.
Right.
So that somebody who's able to do that would be able to meet those needs of the upcoming events.
Okay.
All right. Do you want to vote? Rosie, do you have a vote?
Well, based on her experience, well, they both have experience, but Lisa does have a little bit more experience, of course. Did I hear everybody else's vote? I didn't. Or am I the first one
You are
throwing
the
in?
vote.
Can I be the last?
Ryan.
I vote for Lisa.
Courtney.
Alexander.
Rosie.
Alexander.
Lisa.
We're at the same.
You have any guidance, Jenny? Any help?
We did discuss about potentially calling references.
Yeah, so we do ask for references on the application. If the vote, so you have a few options or a few things that can happen. You can continue to vote and try to persuade someone to change their vote. You can table this appointment for a next meeting and check references if that would be helpful. Or the last option could be that you don't appoint anyone. We've never had that happen before, but there would need to be, I would recommend there would need to be a motion to not appoint someone and then get a second and take a vote for that, would be my recommendation. Like I said, we've never had that happen before, though.
Well, like Courtney, you know, she chose Lisa and Alex, and she's leaning towards Alex now, versus I had only Alex on my two options. And the only reason I'm not voting for Lisa, just bluntly, is because she kept referring to privilege. Well, this community is not privileged. It's diverse. It's got lots of well, it's got different types of communities. It's growing, but it's not growing as a fast pace as all the buildings are going up in the industrial park. Of course, the industrial park's scopes of the community aren't growing as fast. Families are growing, but at the same time, there's still the high end of the poverty level still there. We're still a Title I school. And I understand that she's got educational law, she's got background law, but her background is more from private school, not public school. And yeah, her kids are in private school. And yes, she's been an educator for many years.
I'm
So
going to interrupt you, Rosie. I think she mentioned that she attended private school.
And her kids are in public.
right.
Right, and she worked in public school.
Exactly. So her schooling is private school. But again, with her background as a education law and as educator, and because we're going into the bargain season, that is going to be beneficial for us. And yes, it's only going to be for a 5-month period. So and she did ask how long, what's the time frame and how many hours of commitment and so forth. But again, if somebody was following the meetings, they would see that many times our meetings fall way until 10 o'clock. And we do meet. Last year, we did meet a couple times in 1 month. Well, it's a consistency of twice a month. And then community involvement, engagement is another aspect, requirement, you know. So, and what sometimes people would spend, I'm a single mom, so, you know, kids do take up a lot of your time. So, but I'm not saying that's something to look, a negative aspect. She's brought out a lot of great points, which can be beneficial to the team. Guess that's just my 2 cents. So in order to Alexander, again, he's has as a teacher, and he's a true root Woodburn born and raised and graduate, and so I don't know, but I know it's between me and Courtney to break the deciding vote. And so since you guys told me to be the first one to vote, I'll go ahead and vote for Lisa, because I did ask to be the last one.
It's not
she
up
wasn't
to
my,
us.
I understand.
One of them can also change their vote. So
Well,
don't think that
they've all-
it has to be, anyone can change their vote. They can change
I
their mind,
understand.
or we can change our mind.
Well, we're on round 3, and if Naomi and Ryan has consistently chosen Lisa, what makes you think they're gonna change their mind now?
Well, no one can read anybody's mind.
I understand.
Don't feel like you're being pressured in order to break the vote. That's not how it works.
I'm not being pressured. I just. I just feel like we should come to a conclusion sooner than later.
Well, she said that we can table it.
I know Jenny
and
said that.
Then we can phone references. So there's other options besides. So if you want to change your vote, you can do that, but there are other options available.
Well, because we have bargaining coming up, that is a very important aspect of one of the main decisions. But, and I know experience and background is important. But we always have to think about the fact that our main goal here is to improve our students' education, their environment, what the district has to offer, improve their engagement, and so again, yeah, I'll change my vote to Lisa.
So that wasn't an official vote yet, right?
No, that is,
Oh,
we're in round 4.
Because I was gonna ask how others feel about the
what?
options of tabling.
And then we would check for references.
Well, I think we can talk about tabling. I mean, I think I would feel best if we all left this space knowing that we voted for who we want to vote for. If we are in a space where we're uncertain, one of the options mentioned is tabling. Is that something that we want to discuss?
Tabling and then coming back to it, or tabling and then what?
Well, it would be, right, we would come back to it
When?
at the next meeting.
I don't think we can go wrong with either choice, and so I don't want to table this. I want to
Okay.
walk away with a
With
board.
someone
Yeah.
tonight?
Yeah.
Nope, that's okay.
I think both candidates are great.
All right, do we want to go ahead and do another round of vote?
Yeah, we're in round 4 and Rosie voted for Lisa.
Okay. Ryan,
Lisa.
Alexander.
Lisa?
Okay, you can entertain a motion to appoint. So Lisa has 3 votes and Alexander has 1.
Can I entertain a motion to appoint
Lisa to position 1.
Lisa to position 1?
In a second.
Oh,
Need a motion.
we need a
Oh,
motion.
I'm sorry. I thought that was the motion. I make a motion to appoint,
Lisa Carr.
Lisa,
sorry, I was looking for Lisa's last name.
Lisa Carr,
Lisa Carr to position 1.
Is there a second?
I second the
I'll
motion.
second it.
Courtney.
Thank you.
Or Courtney can second it.
All in favor of appointing Lisa Carr to position 1, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 4-0 vote. Congratulations, Lisa Carr. Welcome to the Woodburn School Board. I think Jenny will reach out and connect you with the next steps. Feel free to reach out. If you have any questions, we are here to be available. And thank you. Okay. Next item is future agenda items. Do we have any requests for future agenda items? Rosie?
I don't, I just want to confirm that the immigration issue is not going to be on the future agenda because Superintendent Juan Larios already addressed it earlier and clarified it. Is that correct?
I'm a little
I think she's
confused.
speaking
Yeah,
on
it
like the
wasn't-
amendment of the agenda.
Yeah, that's right. It was addressed.
Right.
Okay.
That was my bad.
Hearing no additions.
None from me.
Any other thoughts? Want to add? Question?
I do have a question.
Yes.
So originally, when it was brought up earlier in the meeting, was it brought up to be a future agenda item or an item added to tonight's meeting agenda?
To be added to tonight's, which would have been right before the land
Just to
acknowledgement.
clarify. Okay,
Yeah,
right?
that's where I thought we're gonna put it, but I didn't I didn't know that it was
already got.
part of Juan's updates, so.
Okay, okay, just checking.
Okay. So seeing no future agenda items to add, we will move on to the next, which is the board calendar. We have a visit, a school visit this Thursday. Our next board meeting is February 11th. And the following, February 25th and March 11th, right before spring break. Goodness, spring break. Right. Well, it's 9:30. Now adjourn this meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rosie. Good night.
Night.
Bye.